Hello, everybody, and welcome to GDQ Hotfix. My name is lizstar, and I'll be your host today on this Treefort special. Today is Club Metroidvania, with no Metroids and no Vanias. We have an obscure Metroidvania block for you today to showcase some amazing runs that you might not have seen before, but you definitely should. Today, for our first run, we have Seerskye with the La-Mulana Remake. Hi, Skye.
Hello.
And she will be here to showcase this amazing run. You can go ahead and get ready if you'd like.
Yeah, of course. So should I just count you down?
Yeah, go ahead and count me down.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
So the beginning of this run is going to be a little bit difficult to explain because a lot of things are going to happen really quickly, and it's not going to make a whole lot of sense, but I'll try my best to explain it. So I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to mash the menu button. Because if you open the menu while the menu's closing, you get stuck with your laptop out like this. So then when I enter the shop, my laptop will be open, the menu will be open, and I can cancel out of the menu with just the cancel button. Then, when I enter a second shop, I never left that first shop properly. So I'll be in 2 shops at once, where I can do shopping from both shops at the same time. And then I just did a nice setup to get a sub-pixel perfect clip, just to get into the ruins right off the bat.
That is a really good job. You need to, is it like every even frame or odd frame you have to hit it?
So I haven't actually done too much looking at the way that I do the setup in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But the setup does have around a 50% chance of working. The one setup for doing it is to jump into the screen, and then you hold left, and then you you pause, and so long as you pause on any odd frame at the beginning of you loading into the screen, you'll be aligned. You'll have your subpixels aligned.
I was learning this game the other month, and I was like, okay, so how do I do this trick? And she explained it, and I'm like, nope, no, I'm good. I'm gonna skip that one.
Yeah, it doesn't even save that much time, but it's cool. And it's nice. It looks really cool when you get it first try.
Absolutely.
So we just picked up the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is really useful because it lets us warp between warp points. But in order to unlock the warp point, we need to get both the hand scanner and the reader software to be able to translate the text on the tablets.
We currently have
we
the
picked
hand
up
scanner.
the hand scanner during the double shopping. Sorry for talking over you.
No, go right ahead. You are in charge here. It's your run.
And we never actually left the shop that sold the reader software. And because we never left that shop, we're still in it. And we can access it perfectly fine if we just open our inventory menu. If I open my inventory menu right now, all my inputs will go to that shop, as well as going to my inventory menu. So later on, after I get some more money down here in Mausoleum of the Giants, I'm going to be opening my menu, and I'm going to buy the reader software that's sitting up on the surface shop. First, I have to do this tense trick, though.
This is the scariest trick for me. It's very precise whipping here. You're not supposed to do this without sub-weapons. You hit it with sub-weapons, but with very precise jumping, you have just enough range to hit it and land back on the platform.
So there I just bought the reader software remotely, and I did my input specifically too, so that I bought the reader software and equipped the hand scanner at the same time, doubling up, menu inputs. It's nice and efficient.
Absolutely.
So here when I enter this shop, you'll see that I'm already in a shop. I'm going to leave that shop, and I'm going to buy the boots and just set the cursor over weights before I leave. The boots are really good. So that sub-pixel perfect trick I did at the beginning of the run, there's only one setup to do it without boots. But with boots, it becomes really easy to do, just everywhere.
Really easy, unquote.
So basically, you don't need weird fancy setups for it, right? So in order to do these clips here, right, you need to walk exactly 1 pixel into the wall. And Lemeza's position is a floating point value. And unfortunately, without the boots, you move at 1.4 pixels per frame, which means that it's really hard to get that floating point exact. But once you have the boots, you move at 3 pixels per frame. And 3 pixels per frame is a much easier number in order to get these alignments. All you have to do is sort of bonk yourself off of the right walls, and then you'll just be aligned. So I bonk myself off of this wall, and I'm aligned. So I can clip into the wall. I never actually left the shop that sold the boots, and I'm using it to buy some weights as I go along, because we didn't actually have... We need weights in order to solve puzzles, but I didn't actually have the money when I went to the boot shop at the first time. So, I'm just buying them when I'm scanning tablets.
People are saying in chat that their brains are hurting.
Yeah, this game is a lot, especially right off the bat. It does calm down a little bit.
That was really good movement in that room.
That was very fast, yes.
That is the hardest room in the game for movement. Yeah,
something I should note. So when you have a platform that meets a wall, like what I just raindropped through there, normally they zip you through the wall. So in order to make those jumps past those platforms, I needed to press jump for exactly 2 frames, which is the shortest amount of time you can press the button and have Lameza still jump. I guess I'll have some time to talk while I wait for these bats. Those are very kind bats.
So
I appreciate that, bats.
Nice job. To reiterate, in order to skip through things properly in certain places, you have to hold the jump button for exactly 2 frames. Any other amount and you will be zipped. And usually that's not what you want. Sometimes it is, though.
Yeah. So the movement in order to get the Onctual back there is pretty tricky. Somebody in chat, I missed the first 5 minutes. How much did I miss? A lot.
Yeah, a lot. We've done, like, a bunch of crazy tricks already. We didn't even explain cat pausing.
Yeah, I just sort of did it, and then just sort of, like, clipped through a floor.
We'll have a lot of opportunities to explain all these different tricks.
There's going to be some more cat pauses coming up. So we'll probably explain it there. I should make a note. So we have these fancy names for tricks. The clips that I've been doing are called raindrops. And, we had a trick called the cat pause. The raindrop is named after the world record holder, Raindrop Dry, who discovered a consistent setup for doing it. And the cat pause is named after the Zeroth cat, who is the creator of the randomizer, because she's the one who discovered the cat pause. So that's why the trick is called the cat pause. I should note, what RDD specifically discovered was this setup here. Once you have the grapple claw, it's incredibly easy to raindrop, because you can just get your... I just sort of skipped over the axe. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you're just on autopilot and you just forget things.
It's okay. There's a lot of things to remember in this game.
Trying to figure out how to best get that.
All these
Talking
tricks...
and playing games is hard, and sometimes you just get into the wrong headspace, and then you go to the wrong place.
It's very understandable. This game, for those who have never played it, La-Mulana is a Metroidvania, but it's all about puzzles and trying to explore these ruins, and it's really hard and really complex, and the actual speedrun itself isn't much better. One of the hardest speedruns I've ever had to learn. And
trying to figure out what the best way of getting the axe would be. It probably would have been to reset, but I've sort of pushed on past that.
Mm-hmm. Did you get Jackson?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
So I'm just going to take a really long and awkward-looking trip back to get the axe, because I made a mistake.
It's all
That's
good.
Fine.
This game, there are many places for mistakes. A lot of very difficult tricks and a lot of things to remember.
That's an especially silly one, though. I even have my splits open, and we have an auto splitter that splits on everything. I have no excuse. Anyways, apologies for this unplanned detour. You might be asking why I don't just warp to the warp point in here. I'm not actually able to warp to this spot until I get an item later in the run, but I very much want the axe before that.
Currently the only weapons we have are the knife, which deals okay damage but has really pitiful range, and the leather whip, which is laughable. So we need the axe, and it will be our main weapon for a good long while.
Yeah, the base whip does 2 damage, the knife does 3, and the axe does 5.
The axe is a little slow, but it has amazing... Seeing you do that is always wild. It has amazing, like, range and damage.
Okay, so here's another cat pause. So basically, the way that a cat pause works is... I thought I had whip equipped. The way that the cat pause works is... So basically, when you walk in between 2 screens, there's a single frame where you can actually just pause the game. And then when you unpause, the game starts running even as the screen is scrolling to the side. So when I unpause here, you see how that fish on the right is sort of wiggling up? That's because the collision of this weapon cover has been moved over to the right, because I unpaused the game, while the visual of that block was where that fish was. That's the wrong direction. So yeah, that's what a cat pause is. You unpause the game, a little bit like during the screen transition, and just things work weirdly. You can make like pots like jump around too. It like gets rid of trapdoors. It does like a whole bunch of random stuff.
And this other trick that we're doing often, the raindrop, the consistent setup for it is you need boots and you need claws, and then you grab onto a wall, drop, and then move exactly 1 pixel into it. It's a 1-frame tap on right in order to do it, and the easier strat is to hit both right and attack or use item or whatever at the same exact time, and you'll move exactly 1 pixel. Skye doesn't even do that. She's just really good at hitting it for exactly 1 frame. Or 2 frames.
Yeah, I just do 1 frame taps because I'm silly, I guess. You can just like whip and hit right, and so long as you let go of right before the whip ends, then you're fine. So anyways, here's the Fairy Queen and also a shop. We're leaving both at the same time, so now that whole glitch stuff is over.
For now.
We don't have to deal with the fact that we're secretly in a shop. We're gonna come over here and kill this mini-boss.
Boyer.
He's this big lion guy with a whole bunch of legs.
Roller lions.
The axe makes short work of him. Why we like the axe, it does very good things against these early bosses before we get the best weapon in the game, which we're gonna sequence break to get quite early.
So you see us moving around a lot.
A little bit.
We have a very specific route through this entire game. Everything is planned very, very closely. It's a rather optimized run. World record is by Raindrop Dry, who is still the world record despite actually using an older route. So maybe soon we will see a bop, because Skye is currently the 2nd place holder.
Yeah, all that like weird shopping stuff at the beginning of the run is a rather recent addition to the run. Some of the stuff about that trick has been known for a while. It just hasn't really been worked in. But it got worked in after I discovered a new trick, which we're gonna be showing off soon, ish.
You should also note that we have to be using an older version of the game to actually do any of these tricks.
Yeah.
Well, not any of them, like a good amount.
On 1.0. because they fixed the whole if you mash the menu button, it causes a weird bug that makes it easy to soft lock thing. For very understandable reasons. It might not be obvious, but that laptop glitch that I was doing, it's very easy to get yourself in a situation where you're basically soft locked.
Is it really easy to clip through walls in this game, or is Skye just really good?
There's consistent
both.
setups for doing it.
If you know what you're doing, it's not super difficult. Yeah, it is possible to outright crash the game pretty easily, especially with the shop glitches. If you try and buy multiple things at once, the game has no idea what's going on and crashes.
Yeah. I should note, I did like another fancy way to clip into a wall earlier. I did a grapple clip off a pot where you sort of like jump and you grapple like just as you land on the pot, and it like spits you out to the left. And I used that to get into a part of Twin Labyrinths that wasn't supposed to have access to.
People are asking if they should play this game in chat. Yes.
Yeah, I really like this game. This game's cool. It has a really heavy focus on riddles, which is not obvious from this speedrun, because I'm not going to be looking at any fancy hints, and I'm not going to be solving a lot of puzzles. I'm just going to be like clipping through floors and stuff. But no, I definitely recommend this game. It's intense. Like, it's one of those games that like you really need to like take notes and be paying a lot of attention.
If you're the kind of person who, like, in 1994 was playing Myst and you took a bunch of notes and you really liked it, this is the game for you. If you like shoot-'em-up games with exploding, angry British colonels, this might not be the game for you. But it's okay, because you can enjoy this run.
So I'm going to try to go for this one-frame trick here. I missed it. If you pause like exactly as you land on that platform, it jumps all the way to the bottom, like instantly. It looks really goofy. Like it jumps past the bottom, and then when you jump through it, like it just like instantly pops up to where it's supposed to end. It's bizarre. So we're just gonna chill for a bit. Okay, we're done chilling.
Listen, in such a high-octane speedrun, you definitely need some times just to relax, consider what's going on, pray under Wedget, do nothing else.
Yeah. So we're coming up to our first boss here. This first boss is Elmac. Elmac is this big stompy lizard. And so basically I just need to hit him in the face with the axe until he dies. This fight kind of sucks. There's not really like great like consistent strategies for it, because the minecart tracks are just completely random and can just be an absolute pain.
It's also really hard casually. This game is incredibly difficult casually, both in gameplay-wise and in puzzle-wise, especially if you're playing the original version. This is the remake, so they fixed a lot of things, quote-unquote fixed, made things easier. Goodbye, Elmac. Rest in peace.
Yeah, this game is sort of interesting because it's like multiple stages removed, because, you know, La-Mulana was originally a Japanese like indie PC game that was like made to look and feel like an MSX game, like Maze of Gallius or something. And then it got ported to WiiWare, and then that got ported to PC, and that's what I'm playing. There's also a Vita port. Like, this game is out on Vita as well. And there's also a sequel.
You know, if you're one of the 4 people who own a Vita these days, you too can get La-Mulana. We're hanging out with Best Girl now. I didn't
do that right. I need to talk to her and then break the seal, and then talk to her again.
She's Best Girl.
Again, talking and playing is hard, and sometimes you get little autopilot errors. Somebody should speedrun the sequel to this game, Tina Hacks. Oh, maybe you could speedrun the sequel to it.
Tina, that would be awesome. Tina, if you ran this game, I would totally watch. Just saying.
So here we're just gonna clip into here, which like there's a whole like puzzle to get in here, but like we can just go through walls. Like it's just really convenient. So now we're into Chamber of Extinction. This area is dark. You can get the flare gun to light it up, but it's in a really out of the way position. So I'm just gonna do this entire area in the dark, and it's gonna be fine. You'll notice that I'm using caltrops to knock myself off of ladders. Climbing on ladders is slow, and the caltrops let me damage myself, and so why would I bother climbing ladders?
Here we have the Hecacontirus, the 100-handed one. Yep. You have to be careful fighting him, because if he deals too much damage to you, it can be difficult to fight a boss that we have coming up, and we aren't going to get healed in between these two bosses.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's in the dark, it's kind of difficult to see where the 100-handed one actually is, and it is very easy to take a bunch of damage.
Yeah, fortunately he's not like a random fight. He moves in a pretty consistent manner, so
yeah,
you can just sort of do the same thing most of the time, and then whiff your attacks like I did, and then be a little upset, but other than that, you know, it's fine. So Mulbrook finally decided to stop being a sleepyhead and give us the item that she gives us. She also gives you useful hints casually, but I don't need hints because I've played this game far too many times.
She gives you an item if you've been in the room in here that we went in for like a brief moment and then left. But she only does that if you have a certain number of points, and the way the game determines that is all the puzzles and items that you've gotten.
Yeah. So when you wake her up initially, you get a like internal score value gets set to like 50, and you need to get it up to 55 before she'll actually give you the item. I missed this thing because the bug got in the way, so that bug is rude. Anyways, we're gonna come down here and fight Anubis now. We visited this room early, but now we're actually gonna fight the boss in here. Actually gonna see the boss in here, heck. This boss's toes are deceptively hard to avoid. Like, I know that sounds silly, but the number of times I've just walked into Anubis's toes, it's kind of embarrassing.
Its iframes are also really weird.
So now we're gonna get a return of the menu shenanigans. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do some double shopping again to buy the gun, and to hold that shop like sort of in my inventory menu like before, with the buckler selected, because I'm gonna be using the ability to buy things remotely again. This next time though is not because I want the item. Like, I do want the buckler, but it's not because I want the buckler not on the surface right now. It's because there's something that I can do just from the sheer fact of buying an item where I'm not supposed to be able to. It's going to let me do something cool. So there's Argus. He dies pretty quickly. One thing that I should note about caltrops is they're really strong against enemies that don't have iframes. So because Argus there doesn't have invincibility frames, each caltrop does 2 damage. You throw out 3 of them, so each set is just instantly 6 damage. We get a lot of use out of caltrops in this speedrun. Anyways, here's our second boss. It's this big robot fella.
I love
I'm gonna try to get up here and break his mask. Okay. And then we're just gonna shoot him in the face 2 times, because phase 2 of this fight kind of sucks.
Alright. You've obliterated him.
The adventure continues.
Good luck with this trick, by the way. So everyone pay close attention. There will be a lot of very crazy things going on, just like very quickly. First thing to note is that we have a trick with trying to raindrop. Usually, like I said, it's like a 1-frame thing, except if you're on ice, then you have to hold right for exactly 10 frames. And that is not as easy as doing it for 1 frame.
I mean, the exactly 10 frames thing is just a fancy way of saying it. If you notice that the music here is at 180 BPM, then 10 frames is just an 1/8 note. You can just use like your music training to do it. Anyway, so I'm gonna come up here, and I'm gonna open my menu, and I'm gonna buy the buckler. And then I get this nice obtained prompt because I bought an item, and then I can still climb this ladder, and I get control with this nice little obtained thing just hanging out. So I'm gonna come over here to the save point, okay? And I'm gonna open the save menu, and then I'm gonna hit confirm to clear the obtained prompt, and now I have control of the game with the save menu open. And one of the cool things about this game is that when you save the game, the game sets your X coordinate to the X coordinate of the save point. So because I was able to bring that save menu into the room with the flail whip, I could then save the game, and then when I load, I was in the center of the room, in the middle of the block that, you have to remove to actually get the item. And yeah. I also did a grapple clip to get into that room. I got it first try, so you might have not even seen that there was a pot there.
It's just bonkers. It goes
yeah,
so
either
fast.
way. I'm so happy I discovered Save Anywhere for this game, because it's just wonderful.
It's the second game that you've discovered Save Anywhere in.
Yes.
So now we have the best weapon in the game, the flail whip. So goodbye, axe. You were great for a brief moment in time.
Who even comes up with these tricks? I do. This is my fault. I'm the one responsible for this. Ah. I missed the raindrop there. You can raindrop out of that shaft, and then it saves a bit of time, but I'm just gonna go the intended way, I guess. I did actually I think I discovered that save menu glitch in La-Mulana 2 as well. I was actually sort of thinking about, there's an obscure action RPG on like Xbox, GameCube, and PS2 that has a save anywhere bug. That one's great because in that game, there's this great, like, meanwhile at the villain's hideout cutscene that just, like, shows off the Act 1 boss, and if you just save in that cutscene, then you load into the Act 1 boss's lair. It's great. But that's not La-Mulana.
Maybe you'll run it next time.
I haven't run that game in a long time. I don't really have a good setup for streaming PlayStation games.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the fastest version is GameCube, and I don't have the game on GameCube. So we're coming up here again. We're gonna go fight our next boss. Our next boss is Bahamut. He's this big fish guy. We're not gonna really get too much of a chance to say hi to him. It turns out that when you get the most powerful weapon in the game and the double jump very early, does a lot of good things. It makes the game a lot easier. So we're just gonna sort of wave at each other, say hi, and then go on our ways. Bye-bye.
Bye, friend. So, people are asking about the schedule. We don't have a good schedule for Treefort set up yet, but I can go ahead and tell you. Our first run today is La-Mulana Randomizer with Seerskye. Quite obvious.
Randomizer?
Oh, my bad. I run the randomizer, and it's just kind of second nature. Just to say randomizer. It's La-Mulana Remake with Seerskye. Then up next, we have Timespinner with SuddenlyCassie. Then we have Momodora with catcatcatcatnip. And Touhou Luna Nights with catcatcatcatnip. So stay tuned for those runs. They'll be here as soon as Sky absolutely trumps this game into the ground.
La-Mulana Randomizer sounds sick, says somebody in chat. It is. It's really cool. It has
yes, they are a thing.
It has an entrance randomizer too, which is just wonderful because it just sort of like all of the all of the area transitions, like the gates between the different zones, just get swapped around, and so like the entire like topology of the ruins gets shifted around, which is really cool, as opposed to it just being like, you know, you just have to enter every door in the overworld sort of thing. Somebody asked, how do you speedrun a Touhou game? It's a Touhou Metroidvania. It's not a shmup. It's a fairly recent release, isn't it?
I believe so. This is all Metroidvanias all day, so stay tuned for those.
So right there, we just picked up the software that's going to let us warp to all of the warp points in the game, as opposed to only half of them. And we're going to pick up the Gauntlet here, which is just a nice combat upgrade that makes my attacks much faster, which is going to make a bunch of quick kills easier. It may not be like strictly required or like fast. I'm going to reset for this like quick kill strat. But it may not be like the fastest to pick it up, but it makes things way easier. So I haven't really felt like it's worth working out. I didn't get the strategy anyways. If you so this thing on the right, you can actually like sort of hit it as you fall past the elevator it's on, and then you don't get stuck having to warp back up, but it's fine. We're just doing a whole bunch of like stuff we need to do to I mean, like, that's ultimately this game. We have to pick up a whole bunch of items that do some random things. Even though we're able to like clip through everything, we still have to like complete almost all of the game's like objectives. We haven't found any way to like actually break the flag system. We just get to clip through floors. So coming up soon is going to be, you know, one of probably like most people's favorite parts of speedrunning, which is just the obligatory heavy RNG section.
Yes.
So there are these fairies in this game. The fairies, when you like when you walk through a fairy point, a random one spawns. You can tell which one's going to spawn by the pattern. The one that I need to get has a 15% chance of showing up. So that means that we're just going to sit here, and you're just going to watch me roll a d20 over and over until I get an 18 or higher. Depending on how long this takes, it could, you know, not take very long at all. But we could be here for a while.
Who wants to bet how many attempts it will be? Was that a key fairy?
Yes, that was a key fairy.
Of course it was.
The key fairy has a 5% chance of showing up. Before the raindrop was discovered, the old route that Hidden Distance's old world record had, that route had to roll both a luck fairy and a key fairy, which is just real rough for the RNG.
Theoretically,
if it's an 18 or higher on a d20, a key fairy is a nat 20.
Theoretically, the run itself, like, a fast route would be using a key fairy, I think you told me. But, like, you need to get it.
The Japanese runner, Narumanhai, I think last time he was looking at any percent, which was a little while ago, was looking at working the key fairy back in. If the key fairy... So the idea of having a key fairy back in the route would be it would let us skip almost everything in Tower of the Goddess. We just, like, wouldn't have to come back here. Also, this is being very rude.
It really is. This is the worst I've seen it, actually.
I mean, I've heard stories that, like, one time it took RDD, like, forever.
Of course it would happen during this.
Hey, finally, it happened.
Yay! Hype! Alright, so with the Luck Fairy, we're able to get a lot of extra money. This next section we have to do very fast, for the record.
Yes. The Luck Fairy gives us 5 times money from like pots and chests. So we're just gonna like basically get up to max money real fast. It also gives us triple drops from these item drops. So you just noticed that I had 4 chakrams earlier. I throw some of them through the walls, because you can throw chakrams through walls, by the way. And then all of a sudden I have 10 chakrams.
How much was that? I lost count. Did anyone...
Yeah, I wasn't counting.
Did anyone else count for us? Because I doubt anyone got it. That was way more than any of us would have hoped.
Bat, please.
Oh gosh, that bat terrified me.
I mean, once you're on a ladder, like any damage just only knocks you straight down. So if you get on the ladder, the bats aren't scary anymore.
Oh no, there's another bat that got close to knocking you.
Oh yes, there was. But that's not the bat that actually hit me.
That was really fast movement too.
So we got a whole bunch of gold. So now we can just buy 40 caltrops or something, and just like a whole bunch of weights. So now we're gonna go head towards Baphomet. Baphomet's in the Twin Labyrinths, which, I mean, okay, so you wouldn't know this normally, but the Twin Labyrinths is actually through this floor. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why the Twin Labyrinths is through that floor.
Because it's not. There's no down ladder there that sends you to Twin Labs. We have no idea why that's there.
The best theory I've heard was that in development they were considering swapping the left side and the bottom side in Mausoleum of the Giants. Oh, didn't get far enough in the wall, so I just sort of got stuck.
Oh.
Anyways, there's a timer that's going to run out. Don't worry about it. It doesn't actually matter. We do get a really nice health refill immediately before Baphomet, which is quite nice because this boss isn't easy.
No, one of the hardest bosses in this game next to Tiamat.
I'm going to try to do this alignment at the start of the fight so that I can potentially, if everything goes right, get a cycle skip. But I'm probably not going to get the cycle skip. This strat is just really nice for fighting the boss in general, though. If you get right into just the right position, you can hit her with backswings on your whip.
So, say hello to my girlfriend. I love her.
Yeah, Baphomet is great. So here's where we use the rest of our gun bullets. Gun bullets are really expensive, but you get 6 when you buy the gun, which is really convenient. Another clip of 6 bullets costs 400 gold, so we're going to get another clip of bullets at the very end of the run, but we don't get to use the gun for anything else before then. I zipped out of the wall during that desperation attack. That's not to avoid anything. That's just watch the right-hand side of the screen during this victory fanfare. Just watch the right-hand side.
Whee!
So through the floor in Baphomet's room is the Lamp of Time. That's actually what we came here for. Baphomet just happened to be along the way, which is why we fought her then. But there's not actually any like particular reason we care about killing Baphomet. Besides that, we have to do it, and we're just gonna go past her anyways. So now we're gonna head into Gate of Illusion. This area is kind of cool. It's kind of rough, like in your first casual playthrough, just because it can be really confusing. But we're coming here. We're gonna be doing a nice little set of puzzles here that we have to do. It's one of the puzzle sets that I really like in this game. The ones that you get from this fairy here. One of the weird things about this set of puzzles is that we actually have to come down here and read the hint tablets for these puzzles. Sometimes the game actually makes you read the hints. I don't know why.
One of the only times we'll actually need to be reading anything.
So pretty soon, I'm going to use the Lamp of Time for the first time. I'm going to be using it to do something called Lamp Glitch. Basically, if you use the Lamp of Time, and then you go to a different screen, certain things just don't load their collision properly. So there's like a floor that's supposed to be here, but it didn't actually load its collision because time was stopped. So yeah, I just sort of jumped through a floor. This lizard, we have to get him into the square. It's kind of annoying, but at least you can manipulate him. Here we're going to buy Move. This piece of software is used for a software combo. Some of the software in the game doesn't do anything on its own, but if you equip it with other software, it does stuff. And the game can be kind of obtuse about actually telling you what it does.
Yes.
We're going to be picking up a software combo that gives us increased iframes, which is incredibly useful. It's going to make the run way safer in certain locations, and it's also going to allow us to do a quick kill on Tiamat, which otherwise wouldn't be possible.
So, someone asked me, they see that you're using the buckler on occasion. Why doesn't the buckler break? How does it work?
So the buckler has like a certain amount of like hit points it can take before it breaks. But it refreshes its health if you just put it away and then pull it back out. So long as you just sort of like flick the buckler back and forth every once in a while, the buckler won't break on you. Unless you get hit by something that just does a lot of damage to it. Like those snakes in Gate of Illusion. Those snakes actually like do per frame damage to the buckler, meaning that if one of them attacks you and you have your buckler out, you just lose the buckler, like instantly, even though they don't do much damage.
The idea for the buckler when you're playing casually, it's a $10 buckler. You can buy as many times as you want. It blocks like 3 hits and then it's done. You're like, oh, okay. Well, that's a bit useless, but you know, if I ever need a shield for something, 3 or 4 hits, and then you get better shields later on, which we will be getting a better shield later on.
So here we'll have another victim of having the best weapon of the game early. That boss just dies in 3 whip hits. It's quite a thing.
Poor Thunderbird.
So here I need to kill 2 of these little like things that are flying around while time is stopped. If you're incredibly unlucky, they can all just sort of spawn at the bottom and give you like no chance of actually solving this puzzle. And it's really annoying if that happens. So coming up, we're gonna be bold. So we haven't actually gotten the ice cape. And you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of lava around. Lava does a lot of damage if you don't have the item that's supposed to prevent lava damage. Fortunately, the developers never actually coded the, properly set the damage value for the lava plus ladder tile. So if you jump into the lava, like I did there, into the little tile that has, the ladder in it too, you don't take lava damage. And so you barely take any damage at all. That's a really cool trick. Sort of got discovered, and then everyone was like, wait, what? Because it doesn't really make very much sense.
You're supposed to go through this area way earlier in the game, but we're barely even going to go through it or do much of anything in it. Another cat pause here. This is a wild, crazy block puzzle. A lot of trial and error and a lot of thinking through it. When I watch people play this casually, it takes them a while to get that one, but cat pause makes that simple.
So there I just sort of zipped into a whole bunch of lava and then just sort of like casually fell and then used a weight on a thing. Like, it's fine. I had enough health, so it's whatever. But yeah, no, the cat pause to skip the flare block puzzle. Even people who don't use glitches when playing randomizer sometimes do that cat pause because it's just a really slow puzzle otherwise.
How nasty are the puzzles in La-Mulana 2 versus La-Mulana 1? Less nasty, I'd say. Well, actually, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say because like some of the puzzles are better, some are way worse because like they have all the monster puzzles into.
Ah, come on. I didn't. There's a like setup that you can do to break that glass without actually like falling, like I just did. Because falling is slow, but I didn't manage to get it. I just realized that I went the wrong way.
Oh.
Yeah, I was supposed to do something else first, so I'm doing this out of order, which is kind of slow. I was supposed to do something else before coming here. Again, you warp to Tower of the Goddess like 3 times in this segment, and I just sort of like messed it up. So, oops. You go 3 different ways each time you warp there, and I just went the wrong direction. It's not the worst in the world, but I'll probably lose like 15 seconds or something. Playing and talking is hard, round 2. Yeah, playing and talking is very hard. Oh, I missed the chakram hit. Fight went pretty well anyways, though.
Yeah, I hate that fight.
Oh, yeah. I forgot a puzzle, too. I was supposed to break pots.
Oh, no.
Look, okay, sometimes it's hard to get back on track.
It is, especially if you go out of order. And if you try to... You're really good at that. Just, like, changing the path on the fly blows my mind.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to recover. But...
So the puzzle is, it says that there's a laughing child, and you need to make him sad by breaking all of his pots all at once. So you do that by pausing time and then having them explode all at the same time. So you're a jerk, basically.
Hopefully I won't end up going over that 130 that you put down there.
And then your daughter breaks it later. You'll be fine, don't worry. If you go a little bit over it. Just showing off like all the incredible things just is bonkers.
So here's a little fun little thing. You can actually just use hold up a jewel with a use item equipped instead of holding up the use item. Just like the wrong way here. It's just a little tiny thing that's just kind of funny.
Oh, you don't have lamp for Chanda, do you?
Oh, I don't have lamp. Right. That was where I figured I would waste time, and then I forgot to get it. Thank you for pointing that out, because I would have just forgotten, and then probably died to Skanda, because Skanda is hard.
Skanda is very difficult.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, we'll slowly get back on track.
Skanda's a good boy. Can't wait for you all to meet my favorite, Skanda. The best boy.
Chamber of Birth is like a really, really awkward area in a casual playthrough. It requires like a lot of stuff to do. Like a whole bunch of use items that you probably won't have the first time you come through here. And that's bad.
When I was playing casually, this was my least favorite. Oh no!
I forgot, I equipped the lamp thinking that it would be what I needed next, but it actually wasn't.
Oops. This, playing casually, this area and its backside, or front side equivalent, Chamber of Extinction, were my least favorite.
The run is dead. Oh, the run was, not gonna PB or whatever ages ago. Oh, that person got timed out. Whatever. But yeah, we just did a nice little dance in front of that tablet. But yeah, here's Skanda. Skanda's a good boy. He has this really goofy run animation, There's a wonderful sprite mod that changes this guy's sprite to look like Pepsi Man. It's really good.
Skanda is best boy. Goodbye, Skanda. Love you. Why don't you have the shell? It's a good question. Why don't you have the shell?
The shell horn?
Yeah. How can you
I mean, I could
possibly
pick
live
it
without
up.
the Woodle?
I might end up picking it up eventually. There's no reason that I can't get it. It might take a while before I get around to it.
You do
But
walk
I could pick it
past
up if people want me to pick up the shell horn.
We have to show them the majesty that is Woodle.
Well, you won't hear any woos.
Wait, why not?
The only good time to pick up the shell horn is long after you'll hear any woodles.
Aww. Well, never mind. There's no point.
Not the right warp. So there I went and filled my lamp because I'm gonna go and kill Vi in a very strange way. I happened to discover a quite fun way of doing this boss fight that happens to save a little bit of time too. Just a teeny bit, but I'm a big fan of it, so just watch. So if you have too many caltrops on screen, more sub-weapons stop working, so I'm able to throw caltrops over the Ankh, which you're normally not supposed to be able to do. Then I use the Ankh Jewel. I use the Ankh Jewel, right, to start the fight, and then I get damage boosted by a caltrop, which gives me control, so that I can use the Lamp of Time to pause the fight, to pause like the intro, and then if I raindrop through the floor, the fight just ends. Because if you played this game before, after you beat that boss, the game sort of gives you back control and waits for you to fall back through the bottom of the screen before it actually like loads you into the next area. So it actually turns out that the only trigger for beating that fight is going through the floor. You don't need to fight him. You don't need to do any damage. That's just it. Right now we're just having a little bit of a break. We're just appreciating these little guys who roll in the balls, the cat balls, because they're adorable. Like, look at these guys' sprites. Isn't it great? Just look at them.
Cat balls are great.
Okay, so
now
we
we're
just got
pregnant.
the maternity statue. We got the woman statue earlier, and by sitting in that room for long enough, we just upgraded our woman statue to a maternity statue.
If you don't understand, go take 5th grade biology. It's really not that complicated. Let's be adults about this.
So now that we have the maternity statue, we're just gonna come over here under this mural, and we're just gonna do some more waiting. And then we get a nice important item that we need. This lets us talk to these like guys who, you know, we've been able to go into these rooms before, but they haven't been very talkative. Now that we have a flute, they are talkative though, so we'll just mash through their dialogue as fast as possible.
It looks like an
an
ocarina
ocarina is a type of flute.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, makes sense.
So in this game, you can play on keyboard or controller, but keyboard is incredibly overpowered for text mashing. So, like, even people who play on controller, to my understanding, like to mash on keyboard. Because keyboard mashing is just incredibly fast. Because you have 3 different buttons that are all cancel, so you have no chance of, like, repeating the "do you want to hear this again" thing. And you can just mash those 3 buttons as fast as you want. So here we're going to sort of flip into this area we're not supposed to be. I didn't equip the hand scanner.
We're going to clip into this area we're not supposed to be. It's just La-Mulana any % defined.
And we're going to do a neat little trick here. It's one of my favorite because it just looks really cool. You just look like you're just a complete like badass or something. So we're just gonna stand here in front of this crusher, just casually. And then we're just gonna jump at the right time, and it's gonna zip us to like this completely isolated part of the ruins. I don't know why those two screens are next to each other, but they are. And you can just use the crusher to go through the wall there, which is
also, if you jump
quite
at the
nice.
wrong time, you are actually crushed.
Yes, if you jump with the wrong timing, you get crushed. So here we're going to pick up the second part of our iframes combo, so that's going to help us out a lot. And we're just going to clip through the floor here. It turns out that there's stuff down here, so that's cool. Why get the map there? We have to get that map. That map is mandatory.
This is the only map that is mandatory in this game.
Now that we have the iframe combos, it lets us get through this room way safer. You'll notice that there are those annoying enemies flying around, and there are those skyfish, which move super fast. You barely can see them, and there's no way you can dodge them. Having the iframe combos just lets us take damage off of caltrops in a controlled manner instead, and then there's no chance of us getting knocked in that pit. Getting knocked in the pit in that room is just real rough. Yeah, come on. One frame taps are sometimes hard. I made a beeping noise by hitting like Alt or something. The foot of the twins here is like filled with all these traps, and the movement here is really annoying. And I have sometimes failed it in ways that are pretty bad, but hopefully we're done with the. Oh, nope, we're not done with the bad mistakes this run. Thank you, Bird.
Aww.
Thank you, Siren. It's fine. That one's not nearly as big of a time loss as some of the other ones, so. And honestly, I'm just really happy to be able to show this game off.
Big agree. Thank you so much, by the way, for showcasing this game for us. This is
no problem.
Such a good game. Plus, it's a new route. When last we left our heroes, Raindrop Dry ran this at GDQ a few years ago, and a lot of new tricks have been added in since then.
Yes, man, RDD's run at GDQ is just like incredible. I have good memories of it because it's sort of what got me into the speedrun community for this game. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but basically during that run, Raindrop Dry discovered a trick. It's a trick that we're actually coming up to real soon. Raindrop Dry discovered this new trick and decided to not tell anybody about it, but instead just do it for the first time, showing anybody on the stage at GDQ. And like as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness! And I joined the Discord, and I just like started playing around with that trick. Because the trick is just incredible. And it's what really got me into this game and learning all the glitches, and then finding new glitches, and learning the speedrun. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed RDD's GDQ run. So here we're going to go fight Amphisbaena. Amphisbaena is the boss of this first area, the Gate of Guidance. So Amphisbaena is, in a certain sense, supposed to be the first boss of the game. And so we've already done a ton of game. I've been playing this game for like almost an hour now, right? So we're just going to come down here to the first boss of the game, and it's not going to be a fair fight.
Poor Amphisbaena.
The boss fight music is really good, but we only get to hear like half of the intro.
He tries so hard. He's also the only boss that you can use the Lamp of Time on.
The Lamp of Time on, yes.
Just because of an oversight, because they never thought you would be able to, like...
Yes.
I mean, you can. Even in casual playthrough, you could just ignore fighting Amphisbaena. There's nothing stopping you.
Yes, the fact that you can lamp Amphisbaena is just one of my favorite like little things in this game. Actually, more than just being able to lamp Amphisbaena, the fact that the Ankh Jewel does 1 damage in a hitbox that is basically like centered around Lameza, and you can actually kill Amphisbaena during a single lamp charge with an Ankh Jewel. That's probably my favorite thing. So here's the trick
wonderful.
that RDD showed off at the GDQ that nobody had seen before he did his run. You do a weird trick at that ladder, and then you sort of climb down and up the ladder, and then all of a sudden, the area's doubled. I've heard that this has something to do with a double buffer or something. I don't understand this trick at all. I could not explain it to you. Like, why is the elevator on the screen right now? Nobody knows. But the elevator is there, and the elevator helpfully lets us clip past the bone walls and get into this part of Shrine of the Mother without actually, like, doing any real puzzles. Which is great.
The actual way into Shrine of the Mother we will be seeing later on, and it is a nightmare, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But the act we'll be glitching through that too, so that makes it a little bit nicer. Now for the reason we got the map earlier, this bone pillar, this bone skull thing, does not actually show up unless we have the map, which is kind of silly.
I forgot to equip the talisman first before talking to Zelpid, so I showed him the dragon bone. He thought it was cool. So, this part of the run, I believe when RDD was doing world record runs, he'd, spend some time, give a nice Shrine of the Mother update. Because this is, we have like a weird dialogue trigger quest thing that we need to do. And it basically boils down to, we're going to have to take this exact walk that I just did through Shrine of the Mother 3 times in a row. Because that's just how this game works. It's... I don't know. I don't mind it because it's nice to have like a nice little like low effort break. Especially because this is immediately before one of the more intense parts of the run. So, I don't know. I sort of like the break. But anyways, how are you all doing? How are you doing, Liz?
I'm doing pretty great. How are you? I wonder how our friend Beelzebub is doing. Hey, Bub.
He's doing okay. I'm just sort of like poking him and bothering him, but I don't know. I'm sure he'll forgive me. I'm sure he won't get super mad at me for that later or something.
What up, Bub? So during this time, would I be able to give some announcements and tell everyone about what's going on? A Shrine of the Mother update, indeed. So sadly, there will not be La-Mulana 2 after this. I hope to have La-Mulana 2 at some point in the future. We were not able to have too many games going on today. Oh, hi, it's an old man. So we have 3 more games after this. We have Timespinner, we have Momodora, and we have, what the heck is it called? Touhou Luna Nights? Hold on, I have to look it up.
Luna Nights?
Luna Nights, that's it. So those are the 3 games. This is the La-Mulana Treefort, Metroidvania Treefort, where it's a bunch of Metroidvania games that you haven't played, basically, but you should, because they're all really good. Because Metroid gets like too much. Like, yeah, okay, I could go ahead and go to ask Super Metroid community to do something, but they're already going to be at SGDQ. And speaking of which, SGDQ is coming up next week. This is not SGDQ. I see some people asking that in chat. This is Treefort. We do this every week, just showcasing on Sundays awesome people and communities. I like to showcase people who don't quite get enough love, such as the La-Mulana community, which has one of the most incredible speedruns I've ever seen. And we also have a few more things coming up in this week. Stay tuned, because each day we will be having something, and then we'll be having a quick break Thursday and Saturday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then SGDQ is on Sunday. And all of your donations and all of your subs, by the way, are going towards the total SGDQ total. So if you're donating for that, that's where it's going. Just so y'all know.
So right now we're gonna head to Dimensional Corridor. Dimensional Corridor is like, you know, one of the like real late game, like super dramatic areas. In Dimensional Corridor, there's a mini boss rush. I'm gonna be killing 11 mini bosses in a row, followed by the boss of the area, Tiamat. And
Tiamat
so yeah,
is my other
it's gonna be
girlfriend,
pretty hectic action from here on out. Just for the next few minutes. I am probably gonna, you know, take a little bit of a safety and save before actually fighting Tiamat, instead of just doing them all in one go. But anyways, here we go. This first bot is Gerta Blilu. She's a sort of like scorpion lady, and she just sort of slowly walks away from us and doesn't do anything, and I kind of feel bad about killing her. Next up we have Ugalu. Ugalu's this like lion. He does this charge. He moves around randomly and is like super annoying about it, but fortunately he behaved really nicely for me. So next up, we're gonna come up to Lahamu. Lahamu is like a cool fight. He's like the Shark Knight. He like does a lot of things. He's annoying and blocks your attack, and he unfortunately doesn't have a lot of health. So that fight doesn't really last very long. Next up is Ushum, who's this like big worm. This fight is a pain in the butt, and we have like a quick kill strat using caltrops because he doesn't have iframes. So by using like a chakram and some caltrops and just sort of stacking up damage well, we can get a nice and clean one cycle on that fight, which works pretty well. This guy is Kusariku. He does this thing where he turns invincible and charges around, and he has like a phenomenal amount of health. Just like a crazy amount of health. So he's the boss we decide to use the Lamp of Time on, because he can just waste like forever if he just decides to just like fly around invincible for ages. Next up is Kalulu, who's like this cute mermaid boy or something. I don't know, but he doesn't have iframes, so he can just whip as fast as we want. So now we're gonna take a little short break from mini bosses because we need to talk to this guy here. Still have to talk to this dork. So say hello. He's gonna talk to us about some stuff. He's gonna teach us some magic words, which he's gonna write on some tablets in front of his door. So anyways, up next is Irma Lulu, who's a good boy who goes a woo.
Ooh, no! $500 fine.
We're gonna do another cat pause. This one we're gonna do vertically on the ladder. It's just faster if you fail the cat pause to reset on the ladder because the screen is shorter than it is wide. Next up is Mishnahu, who is a lot of snakes, and this quick kill is quite difficult. And I missed the first attack and the second attack. Classic. Either way, the rest of the fight went pretty well, so I'll take it. Next up is Ushum Galu. Ushum Galu, I'm just going to take nice and safe and... just sort of like use caltrops to boost through it. I didn't do that fight quite like I want to, but it's fine. Now is Umu Jabrutu. And I miscounted wing beats. But it's fine. Sort of messed that fight up a bit, but it is what it is.
You'll notice Sky is saying all the actual names for them. In the randomizer community, we don't really do that. We just call them a bunch of things. It's like, hey, which one are you fighting? We don't go, ooh, I'm fighting Shalu. We go, hey, I'm fighting Tornado Ridley.
I mean, I use their names. Anyways, I just took a quick little detour. Any invalid transitions just sort of bring you to the surface, so I just use that to quickly go to the surface and make a quick save before fighting this next boss. Because that was a lot of things that I just did, and I'd have to redo it all if I died to this boss. So even though it's fairly unlikely I die here, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the risk, I don't think.
Alright, it's my girlfriend.
Got damage boosted the wrong way by the Caltrop.
Oh no! It always does that for me too. I hate that.
Okay. You know what? Let's try this again. Because I took a lot of damage there I didn't want to. And yeah.
That's Tiamat for you. She is the hardest boss, other than, of course, the...
Getting
the
damage
first
boosted
one.
the wrong way there just kind of sucks. And ideally wouldn't have happened. But I just sort of messed up a little bit. It's an easy mistake to make. And I just didn't recover well enough to... Yeah, the Caltrop strats here are really good. They're hard, though. Normally you're supposed to fight this boss by just sort of letting her Kabedon you. Kabedon you, and then just sort of fight her from below, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use iframes and abuse the heck out of them. And unfortunately miss the phase 2 part of this fight, but... But we can just sort of use Caltrops still to make the fight safe if we get under her.
Dandy Cheeks, that is a very valid idea. Like, when I play games casually and I find a part that's annoying and hard, I definitely also just rip off speedruns constantly. Like, it really is good. So if y'all ever have any trouble with speed games, or with video games, that's a good hint for you.
Okay, we got that fight done eventually.
Yeah,
That was a bit unfortunate. Lost about a minute there from just both off of PB from both taking the extra save and resetting when that first fight went a bit south. Which is just unfortunate, but it happens.
It happens.
So we're now at like 7 out of 8 bosses done, so there's not all that much left in the run. Still have a bunch of like random stuff we need to do. We need to like buy this software here, which was just sort of like left until we had the money for it. We're gonna like come up here right now. So coming up is like one of the really annoying bits of the speedrun. There's this like bit in the surface that we can't see because it's covered by rocks, and I'm gonna clip into it. And I'm gonna do my best to like move completely blind through that segment in order to get down here. That movement is hard. So these guys are Oxhead and Horseface. One of them has an ox head, one of them has a horse face. They're pretty appropriately named, to be honest. But we just need to kill them so that we can use the thing in the thing-shaped hole. And then apparently get bullied by a snake. So now we're going to come over here, and we're going to go and download some ancient software. And I'm going to make a quick safety save here, because this next boss has a very rare chance of just crashing the game. And with, my luck this run so far, that's just going to happen, so I'm just going to make a safety save, just to be safe. So we're coming up to Palenque, our 8th boss. So after that, there's only just going to be one of the final puzzles in the game. And then we're going to go and then beat the final boss, and then we'll be done. So hopefully this won't take too long. I should probably still finish in under an hour 30, even with all the random stuff that's gone wrong, so... Assuming that more doesn't go wrong. I could always die to Palenque, too, because this fight is hard.
Basically, the glitch, the crash happens after you kill him, usually. Ooh.
No, it just sort of happens. Also, I got hit by the front of the fight right at the end when it was coming back up to his resting spot.
Oh my gosh.
And then just sort of ended the fight at 4 health accidentally. Oops. That was closer than I'd want it to be. Okay. Okay, so with that scare over, we got a bunch of random stuff to do at the end. We're going to go and head back to that part of Tower of Ruin that we sort of clipped into earlier. Because we need to go, kill a mini-boss there. We, set up that fight earlier, but, we're actually going to go and defeat the mini-boss now. And I got sort of stuck in a wall that I didn't want to get stuck in. Took an extra spike hit I didn't want to take. So yeah, over here is Nua. Nua is a quite difficult fight, so I'm not going to bother and just use the Lamp of Time. And we're going to begin with the whole mantra quest. So this is one of the coolest puzzles in the game, honestly. I love it, but I also don't want to spoil it because it's just because the logic behind it is super cool. But unfortunately, I just yeah. So talking is hard. It means that this next segment is going to be a little bit repetitive. I'm going to go around and I'm going to be casting spells with the Jed Pillar for a little while. And it's not going to be quite obvious why I'm doing what I'm doing.
But we do still do a bit of a glitch with this because by getting by clipping through a thing earlier, we didn't really talk about it when it happened. Way earlier. We actually skip half of the mantra quests, and we don't have to do all of them because it only checks to see if you do the last mantra that you need to do.
Yes. So we sort of skipped doing the first part of this quest line. I'm going to do the grapple clip that I did earlier in the run again here. Well, I'm going to faceplant, but I'm going to do this clip again. Grapple clips are kind of finicky, you have to just hit it at just the right time.
Mm-hmm.
There is a trick that I could do here to get to this next tablet just slightly faster, but I'm not going to bother with it right now. I just sort of want to get through the run and not waste more time. And there would be a good chance of me wasting more time if I decided to go for it. I didn't actually equip the mantra. I think I did there, though. I'll double check. No, I didn't. The mantra menu is really, like, laggy in a way that, like, the other menus aren't. So it's really hard to adjust to. Because it just doesn't function like the other menus do.
Something also to note, the original game tried to act like it was like an MSX game, right? So
Yes.
it had a lot of things that really weren't intuitive. And one was the mantras. You learn the mantras, and then instead of having a menu where you select it and then press a button to use it, you have to actually type out the word that you learned. So you'd learn Wadget, and then you'd have to type out Wadget where you need to use it, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, it feels like it's a sort of reference to in Maze of Gallius. There's a whole bunch of worlds, and each world has a dungeon. And part of the way that game works is you need to like read things in the dungeon to figure out. Open the right menu. You need to read things in the dungeon to figure out what the name of the boss is, so that you can then type the name of the boss in the right room to get the boss to show up. And so it feels sort of like a little bit of a reference to that.
Emulating bad ideas isn't innovating if it's a bad idea. I think, like, they knew that all these design ideas that they were taking from Amazing Gallius and that were not great game design, but they didn't care. It was just a love letter to their favorite games when they were kids. So,
yeah, this game has like a lot of like very rude traps in it. Some of which that you just like haven't seen because I've just been jumping past them.
But don't worry, if you play this casually, you will find them.
Warping is hard. Nope, it's still not right. Here we go. Finally made it. So now we're going to go and we're going to head to the final area of the game. Not a whole lot left in this run, so just need to make our way to the final boss and then beat her up. We need to get that item there, and it just happens to be along the way. We're going to go into Shrine of the Mother the intended-ish way now. More intended than what I did before. Here I need to roll a health fairy, which is a 65% chance. And so having it take 3 times there, it's just, the fairy luck in this run has been something, let me tell you.
Killing mom for Father's Day. Yeah, exactly. Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Happy Father's Day. We're gonna kill the mother. Wait, what?
It's tradition for runners of this game to do a run on Mother's Day, which I find incredible.
In terms of tradition, you mean just I did a randomizer playthrough on Mother's Day?
No, I saw multiple people do runs on Mother's Day.
Yeah, I know.
As a quick rundown, the story is that they're basically an alien fell from space. She is the mother. She could not get back up to space. She created children in order to basically build her spaceships to get up to space, and none of them could do it properly. So now you are among, I think it's the 8th children?
Yeah, something like that.
And that's humanity, and you need to kill mom in order to put her out of her misery.
Raindropping beside that guy who just, like, that blob that just spits out a ton of eyeballs is really annoying. Sometimes it behaves and sometimes it doesn't. And now we're in True Shrine of the Mother, which is probably one of the hardest areas in the game to avoid just taking a ton of random damage everywhere. This area kind of sucks.
That is another thing, Tina. She also kind of eradicates every race of children she creates when they fail to send her to space. So don't feel too bad for her.
Yeah, she's not a very good mom.
It's a toxic relationship, Mother. Where are my emancipation papers?
I just got sniped by a skeleton. Skeleton, please. But yeah, the movement in here is like really hard because there's just bats everywhere. They'll just ping pong you around and just have to move in like really specific ways. You know, there's like some places where if you move just right, you can just barely sneak past the like one of those tentacles. And the tentacles like do a ton of damage. You don't want to get hit by them. No, I missed the elevator cycle because I got distracted by the Pegasus thing. So here's Beelzebub. Beelzebub is mad at us, but we can just stop time, and then he can't actually start the fight against us. Which
Hey,
is
Bub.
convenient.
Bye, Bub.
I'm resetting the game when I warp to the surface here because that way I actually keep my lamp charge. You only actually lose the lamp charge when it like fully runs out. So if you save the game and then reset before it fully runs out, you just get to keep it, which is really nice, and I appreciate. So yeah, we're just coming up on the final boss. We've done everything we need to do. No, we haven't. I missed a step.
Uh-oh.
Almost. I've done everything we need to do.
Oh, did you not go say hi to Fairies? Yes.
I need to say hi to her.
That's important.
And then we'll be then we'll only have the final boss left. And then we'll probably come over a little overestimate, sorry.
It's okay. Thank you again for showing off this run. It was very awesome.
Yeah,
Don't
no
you all
problem.
agree? A lot of
My
amazing tricks. And good commentary. And an amazing host. It's the most important part.
Oof. But yeah, hopefully this fight doesn't go too poorly. She does a lot of damage on like contact and stuff, but if everything goes okay, we should not get hit. So I'm gonna probably not be terribly talkative during this fight, just because I want to focus and make this nice and clean to, you know.
This is definitely...
It's a really cool fight when it's done well.
This is definitely low health for a Mom fight. Mom is definitely the hardest fight in the game. Do you mind if I talk to explain it while...
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so Mom has
try my best to
multiple...
focus.
Go ahead. Good luck. Mom has multiple phases. The first one is this face that we hit, and then you need to have the correct medicine of the mind and have also seen all the grail points, or like the teleportation spots, in order to actually continue. If you don't, she sucks you into her mouth and spits you back out at the start of the ruins. And oh my gosh, it really sucks if you miss something or forget, like in a randomizer run. Second phase is just a bunch of stuff flying around. Hashtag nerf baby lasers. Third phase is a really quick phase because it has no iframes and caltrops are broken. And then this fourth phase is the hardest phase. She takes on the attacks of every single boss that we've already faced. You hit her, should be twice with the flail whip. And then as soon as the ball flies back into her, that is when you can hit her again. So you'll notice that we're waiting a little bit for the blue ball to fly into them before we can actually hit her. One hit and we're toast, basically. So this is very, very dangerous. Once we get to the final boss, we can do a good quick kill using the gun on her.
There we go.
Yes!
Oh. Oof. I did not want to take damage from the...
Oh my god, I cannot believe you did that way.
I mean, normally you don't take any damage, so... Like, it's not like 8 HP is any different if everything goes well.
Still.
So...
It's nerve-wracking.
So we're not done yet, because, you know, in classic Metroidvania fashion, even though Classic didn't do this, we have to escape from the ruins.
She was a load-bearing mom, basically.
As I said, though, every invalid transition just brings us to the surface. So we just sort of raindrop out, and we're here. Folks wanted me to pick up the shell horn, right? Let's go do that.
Yes! Shellhorn!
Because we're here, right? So we might as well.
Might as well. Get that woodle.
Actually, I think we might hear it when we pick it up. No, we don't. So anyways, we now have the shell horn. We're not going to actually hear it, but we have it. And so we're just going to come back up here, and we're just going to clip back into the ruins. Because you remember how, like, there is this girl in the ruins, like Mulbrook?
Best girl.
She gave us an item. She gives us hints. That sort of stuff. She's still in here. If you talk to her more, she asks you to save her. And, like, what sort of monster wouldn't save Mulbrook?
Right?
That movement was bad, and this lamp charge is going to run out before I actually need it. Oops.
Uh-oh.
That's fine. It's not actually a big problem. It just wastes a little bit of time. I just need to raindrop here, and it looks really silly. But it's all good. Just one last mistake for this run, but gonna finish just a little bit over estimate, but it's all fine. We're just gonna zip over here.
Also, as a note, there is supposed to be a timer going. Ready on time.
Yep, and that's time.
Oh, my timer froze. There we go. GG!
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for letting me show off this game. Even if I, was a bit scatterbrained, made some mistakes here and there. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It's up to you whether you want to let this credit sequence play out. If we wait like 2 minutes or something, then we can see my in-game time. But I don't think that's necessary because
it's not necessary, and the in-game time is bonkers. It's dumb anyway.
So, you put a estimate of 1 hour 30, so we can move over whenever other people are ready.
Yeah. Do you just have anything else you'd like to say? Any announcements? Anything you'd like to sell?
I don't know. I just sort of like to say thanks to the La-Mulana community because there's a lot of people behind this run, like Raindrop Dry and like Worse Than You, who did a lot of the work with the route of that game. Shuffling things around to spend as little time in menus as possible and other stuff like that. Worse Than You and Smurfdom have also done a lot of work reverse engineering the game, and Worse Than You has made like a save anywhere mod where you can just like save the game anywhere by just hitting a menu option that normally doesn't do much. And so it's just like super useful for practice. There's just a lot of like random tech that's being found by random people too. Like I believe Goost was the one who discovered that you can just hold the right to avoid zipping when you have a like wall arrangement that would normally zip you, which is just such a nice discovery. Yeah. So anyways, huge shout out to all those folks.
Yes, and thank you again so much, Guy. Really appreciate it. Y'all are watching Treefort. We're doing Club Metroidvania today, showing off some amazing Metroidvania runs y'all might have missed. And we have another one coming up in just a few moments. We have Timespinner with SuddenlyCassie, New Game Plus. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Games Done Quick, and welcome back to Treefort, our Sunday Treefort, where we showcase amazing communities that don't quite get enough love. At least that's what I do. We showcase runners who have similar interests, and this week's interest is Metroidvanias, and here we have another one. This is Timespinner, a game just from last year that sadly didn't quite get as much love as I think it deserved. It's an incredible game, and we have SuddenlyCassie here to showcase it. Hi, Cassie.
Hi.
You can go ahead and take it away if you'd like.
Okay. This is Timespinner. I'm going to be running the New Game Plus category, which I like because it's, you gotta go fast right from the get-go. So we start off, normally you would have a tutorial, bit of a tutorial cutscene thing.
Oh, should I start the timer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Boom.
Got a little ahead of myself. Developer of this game released a series of codes for speedrunners that remove the opening cutscene, and one targeted at any percent, one targeted at New Game Plus, and they just add a few little niceties.
Which is super awesome. I think more game developers should definitely showcase speedrunning potential, because I run Sonic Mania and they just keep removing speedrunner glitches, and it's really, really rude. Come on. Speedrunners are people too.
So we just took a small detour there to grab a warp point for the future. And now we're getting our first item, the piece of the time spinner that blew up as we escaped attack from the Empire in the opening cutscene that we missed. So now that we get that first piece, and that gives us the ability to stop time, which we'll be using for a few puzzles. Such as here, these little things will fall down. We'll try to run over them.
People are saying in chat, yes, this is definitely people who made this really, really, really like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, it's very much homage there. And now we're doing our first clip. This just bumps us up to the top of the screen, saves us a lot of climbing, saves a little bit of time. So we have this ability, this wall. You get it through one of the later game side quests. And in the New Game Plus, you get to start with all your abilities, you get to start leveled up. And that's the big thing, is that lets us do a lot of clipping, a lot of out of bounds, and I don't know, it's the real thing that brought me to this game, this this category specifically. So I kind of went a little far, but the nice thing with this wall is we can make our own platforms to get out, but I try to stay on top if I can. Now, normally we're supposed to talk to this librarian, do a bunch of side quests, and get some keys. But because we have this ability, we're just going to skip all that.
Yeah, screw librarians. Who likes librarians anyway?
I was just a fraction of a pixel or two to the right, so I just gotta wait a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ignore that. How precise are these clips?
You have to be pretty close on the left, lined up, proper distance from the walls. I use a certain ring that gives me that little kind of halo around me. That
I'm not being mean to librarians. I'm a librarian.
So this little halo, it lets me take one hit without taking any damage, but it's also perfect for lining up against walls for clips, so it's used as a good guide. But most of these doors, if you don't have any key, they give you that little warning, that little text pop-up saying, saying that you need a key to enter. If you are just the right distance away, usually if you're not going too fast, it'll stop you at the right distance away from the wall. So in most cases, you can just sit there and then do a quick double tap and drop the wall there. I also just did a stair clip. That's a big part. It saves a lot. Using that saves half the game, probably. It makes a big difference. You can do some stair clips in a few places in any percent. but it relies on luring enemies into the right spot and then freezing time with them in the perfect spot to push you underneath into the floor. So here, just try to line up and get the height. You want to get about half height. So, and now we're going to get our first piece of the... Oh, there we're just a little pixel too far from the wall, and we get kind of stuck in between.
Shimmying.
Now, these are kind of unique enemies, these laser spiders, in that they actually aren't stopped by time. So it makes you wonder what sort of stuff the Empire was getting into that they were making these.
So what is the story for those who have not played it?
So the game starts out, you are a member of a kind of village, a tribe that was brought along. They are basically, they are like, they are the time spinners. They're if things happen that's going to cause a lot of damage to the world, like they are sent to go to the past, and they are prepared to lose their family, lose their.
So if you're sent to the past, you are erased from the timeline, and so no one knows who you are, and they do that. They take that risk in order to try and save the world and be like, hey, people are going to be attacking. Let's run away. That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they have this time machine, and they're also sworn with protecting it. And then the Empire attacks, trying to get this technology from you. You're escaping, and something goes wrong, and it explodes, launches you to some point, maybe a few weeks, few months in the future, and
you also go into the past, which is what this is right now. So this game, like a lot of Metroidvanias, has the 2-map system where they're both the same map but in different kind of ways. This is the dark world, this is the light world. Well, this is several years in the past and several years in the future. And you mess around in the past and the present in order to try and stop the Empire.
Yeah, now we found a piece of the time spinner, and that launched us into the past. A long time. This is maybe a few hundred years now into the past. Talking and playing, I'm making a few little mistakes, but we're okay. And this gives us an opportunity. The spot we kind of came into was a castle. It has a bunch of soldiers that are kind of fighting the last battle against the Empire in this other parallel world. And from it, we can get a lot of information and change the past, and ideally, we can stop this Empire from forming in the first place.
And of course, it's time travel, so things never go perfectly. But we're skipping a lot of stuff because it's New Game Plus. So if you really like the idea, and it is a really good game and I highly recommend it, you should check it out, play it casually. There's a lot of stuff we're skipping over and a lot of story. Something to note as well is that this game just came out on Switch. It just got ported to Switch.
Just a couple weeks ago.
So if you haven't played it, there's your opportunity if you have a Switch.
So this place we keep coming back to, that's kind of our central hub. It's where you can pick up a lot of the side quests, and if you're playing this casually, I highly recommend doing them. Lends a lot to the world. It's really, really good.
What is causing the ridiculous damage? So this is New Game Plus, so we get to keep our weapons, and you level up your weapons.
Yeah, so I was going to make a comment on that. So in New Game Plus, we are very powerful. So bosses are a lot less of an issue in New Game Plus. We usually can take most of them out in a single hit, so it's a lot about... this run is a lot just about trying to get the optimized movement and trying to keep everything smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. We're now storming the castle. So just a little while ago, when we first ran into, we killed the big bird. We got a item that lets us now teleport at will between the past and the future. As well as we met a couple of demons, an incubus and a succubus. And it appears that the Empire was
dealing with demons.
not the Empire you're against, but the Empire of the past that is fighting the Empire of the future. Is dealing with demons. And so basically our goals here is we have to, 1, stop the demons in the past. Talk to the current queen and get her to stop her war. And this will allow us it'll open a gate for us in the future that is currently, the Empire is like very strong in the future, and there's this big laser gate that we can't see past. So this is the incubus and the succubus, except they are just puppets for this thing. So we kill them here, and now we get our next movement item, and that is the hairpin that lets us now double jump.
So, there are a few questions, by the way, in chat. We have, do you know about the Switch's speedrunning potential? If it might be better or worse, or equal?
As far as I know, the code base between them are essentially the same at this point. I'm actually using a slightly older version, and I only use that because it lets me use an auto splitter. But other than that, as far as I know, the versions are the same. They should run identical in terms of speed. But I haven't tried the Switch version myself personally.
Plus, as we've said, the creators of this game really appreciate the speedrunning community and keep it in mind. So they would not intentionally make a different version to split the speedrunning community, I don't think.
As far as I know, the codes still work between the two.
Go ahead.
No, we're just using that wall item to skip a large portion of the game here. Climb the tower to battle the queen. Okay, what was your question?
What would you say the main category is for the community? Is it New Game Plus or is it New Game?
I would say like any percent is the current one that's probably the biggest in terms of runners. I got the wrong weapon when I started this fight, so. But in terms of like overall runners, like New Game Plus has almost the same number of runners, but probably not as close to the recent runs. So that was, we just defeated the queen, and she's going to stop her battle. And then we picked up our used a warp shard to go back to the last warp gate we used, and now we're just going to head back, save a little bit of backtracking. And then this is a big skip coming up that saves a huge section of the game, which we will run through in the present. So it skips this big section in the past. Hopefully, shortly after, I want to get my time down here a little bit further, but I still want to learn the new game category. But it does. One of the biggest things is the most optimized movement in new game, because you don't start off with the speed boost. Is it's basically a cycle of backdash, jump, attack, backdash, jump, attack, switching direction constantly, and that's kind of hard on my hands. So that skip into the stairs and down the hole, that saves us a lot. Now our third thing we have to do in the past is stop this demon door. And it is a door between this planet and the planet that the Empire is on. So we close that door, and that weakens the Empire even further in the future. So now we are able to storm the current Empire, but we are first going to go and get a second piece of the Timespinner. And this is, in the present, what's that last skip saved us. So it's a big section of underground tunnels. Okay, we are actually kind of close to that wall.
have you submitted your most recent PBs to? Because people are saying what your world record is, and I'm like, or your not your world record, excuse me, your PB, and I'm like, I don't think that's right.
The last 2 weeks since I've started playing this, I've shaved over 2 minutes off my time. So
Yeah, so her PB is somewhere in like the 19 minutes now.
yeah, it's like 1937. Just practicing earlier today was where I'm at, but my sum of best is like under 17 and a half minutes. So I want to close that gap.
It is an optimized run for world record. How long is the any percent?
Any percent, I want to say it's about 30 minutes, a little bit longer.
So what? That's quite surprising for a new game where you can just literally kill everything in one hit. Like it's only 10 or so minutes more.
Yeah, like in terms, we're also playing on nightmare difficulty, so the enemies are in theory supposed to be a little bit harder. You take more damage, but we also set a max level of we go up to level 255, so we are pretty
pretty buff.
But this will be at SGDQ, and any percent will be played there. So you can check out that run over there.
Heck yeah. That's next week, by the way, SGDQ. Stay tuned for that. And all of your subscriptions today are going towards the final total for SGDQ, if you really want to donate currently. But donations will be opening on Sunday next week.
So now we're storming the Empire, and it is pretty much a mirror of the castle in the past. Very similar. But first we're heading into this lab, and here we have, it's a lot of mixing of people and demons are getting like experimented as a combination by someone. So usually usually what's done here is use the same clip, but I like using this this crouch mode clip that doesn't get used as much. It's used in any percent once you have the double jump, and I don't know, I just find it a little bit more consistent for doing those laser jumps. If you use the wall, you have to be very precise in your movement, otherwise you hit the laser and take damage and bounce out. So that gives us our last piece of the Timespinner, and that will let us do basically lets us choose what ending we want to have. There's 4 different endings to this game.
Which one are we doing?
So we're going to be what's basically considered best ending or true ending. Is the only ending allowed only ending for New Game Plus. I was a little low on health. I took some extra hits of poison. So basically what I'm doing there is if you dash and attack at the same time while crouching, you can get yourself into where your hitbox is still in the crouch position, and that lets you clip into the ceiling.
The protagonist in this game is a girl.
So this is the...
No. Rip in peace. So quick.
Yeah, that was the... I guess the scientist that was experimenting with demons and humans. And we get the choice. We're going back in the time and we're killing the king of the realm that the Empire was fighting against. This is theoretically the best ending. It stops the Empire from ever forming and leads to the most peaceful past. However, we've messed with the past a lot, and some entities just aren't that happy about it. So now we kind of get pulled into this nightmare realm, the realm of the Sandman.
Sandman is basically a god of time, and he realizes you've been messing around just a bit too much and wants to stop you. So, go ahead.
Every change you do, it's like, it makes him more powerful, but he has to like keep all this time in his mind, and he's getting pretty annoyed with you at this point.
You're just giving him a lot more work, and he's kind of lazy. He's like, listen, all right, give me a break. Good lord. So now we're stuck here, and the only way out is to kill him. But he's so powerful because we've changed time so much that it's dangerous, unless, of course, you're in New Game Plus.
Okay, didn't fall in the pit of shame.
Yes!
It's a very long pit. We can use that skip. Otherwise, we have to fall down, and we have to search for an item that lets us basically jump infinitely high. And also, part of what the Sandman has said is now that we've messed with so much, he's actually destroying reality. He's not going to keep it together anymore.
Here he is, final boss.
Final boss, and now we get to see his true form briefly, and time will be coming up very quickly. And here's his true form, and time.
GG. Your final time was 20:35.
Okay, yeah, I have 2042, started a little bit late, but...
the starting time was a little funky. you jumped the gun.
Yeah, I got a little bit ahead of myself. But now that we've killed the Nightmare, Sandman, someone has to take that role. So now we ascend.
Alright, thank you so much for that amazing run. Do you have anything you'd like to say, Cassie? Anything you'd like to sell?
Just come and check out the 80% run at SGDQ next week. I can't remember what time it's playing. I didn't look at the schedule before this, but give it a look. The 80% is really cool.
Definitely. And everyone, be sure to check out all of our runners today. Check out Seerskye. Go ahead and give her a follow. And also give SuddenlyCassie a follow. Because she is wonderful and great and is very great. I'm sorry. She's also my fiance, so I have to legally say this. So, thank you again, Cassie. Really appreciate it. Don't go anywhere, friends. We have 2 more runs coming up, both by catcatcatcatnip. Stay tuned. Next up is Momodora. So, we'll be right back. Hello, darling friends, and welcome back to Treefort. Welcome back to Games Done Quick, where we are showcasing awesome runners who share a variety of interests. And this week's interest is Metroidvania games. I'm your host, lizstar, and I am happy to show off catcatcatcatnip for her run of Momodora. Hi, Catnip.
Hi. So, this is one game that it's not a classic like Super Metroid, but some people know it from GDQ runs. I think have coordinated, especially was one to run this first, and lots of people know because of that. This is also a game very well known because it has lots and lots of cats, and it's great. So,
You all set?
okay, let's go on 3 then.
All right, sure thing.
1, 2, 3.
Good luck.
Thank you. So the beginning starts with a small cutscene. We have to mash through. It's like 20 seconds or so. You can your basic movement is walking. You can jump. You can double jump, and you can roll. You also have melee attacks and arrows, which are ranged, and you can do charging arrows and combo melees. Also, you have roll jump, which basically, if you press both the roll and the jump at the same frame, you do both animations at the same time, which will get you height from a jump and invulnerability and speed from a roll. It's pretty tricky, but you get used to it quite fast. This is the first area of the game, which is the grove. There's not a lot to see here, especially in normal. On insane and hard, every room will be filled with lots of imps and stuff, but since it's normal, it's way less stuff. Also, you got that chest because we need 80 money to buy one item from the shop. It's the only item we buy, and it increases our speed during boss fights by a lot, making us stronger. This category is AVIP, which consists of all ivory books, vitality fragments, and bosses, which are basically all collectibles. It's a pretty fun category, and this was a bug. Maybe you couldn't see it because it's 4 pixels only, but yeah, we need to collect 20 of those. And this is a vitality fragment, which makes our health slightly bigger. And this is the second chest. And the second bug. No. Imps are the worst enemy in this game in terms of everything they do is kind of RNG, which means they can run around, they can jump on spikes by themselves and die, they do lots of stuff. And this is the first boss fight. I'll try to do a thing called a quick kill, but let me just see if that works, then I can explain. Yeah, I did it. So what happened there is that we buffer the enemy's attack, so when we release our arrows after unpausing, we hit Idia's crit box, which is that boss, hitting with all 3 arrows, and then she dies instantly. It's not too hard, but it's kind of tricky to get down. Also, if you beat a boss without taking damage, you get an item from it. The first one is the Idia's Pearl, which will make it so we do poison damage whenever we shoot arrows, which increases our damage greatly. Also over there I bought the Crystal Seed, which was the item I was talking about. We won't equip them right yet. Also, one thing about the Pearl, which is it gives our arrows poison properties, which means whenever we shoot an arrow and it hits something, it will create a poison cloud, and we can poison ourselves with it. So, it's kind of a dangerous item, especially in boss fights where you don't want to take damage. Here I'm taking a detour just to get a safe save. And this is Mocha. He's like the final boss of this game, basically. He's like very tricky, and his RNG is very heavy. He can do 3 types of attacks. Luckily we got good RNG, and this is the first fight. Now we fight Lubella. She's like... she can do one thing, that she will dive down outside the screen, and that can slow us down by a lot. It's... She didn't do that, so we're fine. The second boss item is the Backman patch, which is one of the most important items in this game, especially for this category, because it creates lots of Backman patches, which are kind of like squares or something. And this is Calf. She's the best girl. And that's it. But like, I'm gonna show you the Backmans right now. There's like this mini boss fight against this knight. Fight. In 80%, this fight is even faster, because when you get here, it's in another like time, and you have better items. But yeah, here's another bug. They can be like very sneaky. No, okay. And this is Paramo. And that's it. He is a pretty chill guy. Likes to stay around and like hold his lantern and talk stuff. Pretty chill. The next area is the Cinder Chambers. Oh, we got a chest. Sniping that chest means we're gonna get a PB. It's a sign of good luck. But this area, like, we don't usually see a lot in any percent, but in this category, we see quite a lot of it. Also, it has somewhat precise movement in some parts. And this is probably the hardest boss in this run, especially in AVIP, which is the Arsonist. And Kaf is there to help us, because she's great. This fight is very famous because Arsonist has a set of skills and abilities she can use, but sometimes she just like doesn't go for... Oh god, I got hit. Sometimes she like kinda breaks her own rules, which is kinda weird. I like to joke she's sentient and she's gonna like conquer the world. But yeah, that was my own thought though. Also, she has 3 attacks. One of them is that whip. The other one are those small balls that are random both in speed and direction and how they bounce. And the third one, she kind of summons pillars. And she can also teleport. Whenever like she's out of the screen, she will teleport to you. Which is kind of good. We want to finish this fight as close to the right as possible. Because where we need to go is to the right. Also, we want to finish this as close to Kaf as possible because she has to walk to us. And this was the Arsonist. She's like the most tanky boss in this game. Wait. Okay. The item Arsonist give us is the Pocket Eye Sensory, and basically that makes it so we do lots and lots and lots of damage. It's pretty good. And also we got a crest. We need to get 4 in total for like this game's lore. This crest also gives you the power of air dashing, and this was pretty hard. Oof. Okay, we got it. Basically, this game's law is that we need to like, our village was attacked by like a curse or something, and we kind of want to warn the Queen of Cash City, which is where we are right now, about it. But then she discovers like the queen is kind of the cause of the curse, and we need to go there and banish like the evil spirits or something. But the crystal is protected by a barrier that we only unlock if you got all crests. Also here I'm just like collecting stuff. You don't usually see this part in any percent. Also activating that switch will make it so wrecking balls won't like fall down anymore, which is useful. In easy mode you can skip that usually and just take the damage, but in normal I like to be kinda safer. No! Okay. And this is why backman patches are so important. By using right here, we can hit a switch that is like down there in the screen, which we shouldn't be able to use. And basically you're doing a sequence break because we are supposed to do the other way around. But since this way is faster to get our collectibles, we go this way. And what we do here is that we fall down the stairs at the same time we use an item. It needs to be at the same frame. And then you can do both things at the same time. Hopefully she won't dive. This is the refight against Isabella, and yeah. Now she's dead, like, for good. But before killing you with a curse, like, she just curses you, which is actually a blessing because now you are a cat. Like, imagine fighting against a witch and she thinks that the worst curse in the universe to make you suffer since you killed her was to turn into a cat. Well, that it is. Cat movement is slightly different from like human form and is also way faster. It's kind of more precise too in a way, but it's pretty good. Cats cannot use items though, except the cat sphere, which is this item I just got that transforms into a human. Also, cats cannot climb ladders, which is weird, but yeah. And now we're gonna go back and get the second crest, which is the warp crest that allows us to warp between like certain bells. Also, we're gonna get over some stuff that was is lower to get in human farm. Oh my god, this was really close, and that was pretty neat. This screen is like pretty scary because if you do that damage boost strategy on the way back, there will be these saplings, the seedlings, which will be in random like positions and will be falling at random speed. Oh god. This is really sad. Okay. And this is why you like take care of our health, but yeah, it happens.
That fade out is so long. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? It's like from the time she dies until like you get control. It's like 20 seconds or something. It's pretty long. I wonder why though. Like even your normal def animation is not that long. I think it was to make it more dramatic or something.
Yeah, I
I
get
don't know.
that makes sense. Gotta buff up the dramatics for that moment.
Maybe they want the player to think like, hey, did we mess up? Kaho is dead now? What happened? And then like she turns into a cat and go, oh, alright. And that's better. Dying that was really bad because you not only have had to watch that like dying cutscene again, but you also need to go through this elevator again. But it should still be fine. Not on PB pace anymore though, sadly. Also try to go slightly safer. I do the intended route for this.
This game is really cute. I like the art style.
I know, right? It's like one of the cutest games, like in terms of art style I have ever seen. And not only that, like some I'm not sure if I should be spoiling stuff, but like there's a certain if you complete 100% of the map, you will be able to go to like a developer room, and there's like this one like there's basically messages from every single dev and like people that contributed to the game.
I
And
love that
like
kind of stuff.
it's super cute. And there's like this one dev, I don't remember which one was it, that the message was basically like, never give up on your dreams. And it's like so cute. This game is like lovely. Even though like it's kind of dark some themes. Like later on we get for some like dark stuff, but
Like cat harm. don't harm your cats.
don't harm your cat. The cat, like when cat dies, it's such like
No,
cat
that
makes
doesn't. No, it's just sleeping.
it kind of screams. It's so sad. Like
It's just sleeping. Don't lie to chat like that. Definitely don't lie to me like that.
it's basically like don't ever die as a cat because that will hurt your soul. it's just there's this one bug that is really sneaky under the bridge, and it's barely noticeable. Often people forget about it in runs. And this is Sun's Undertale. Goodbye, Sun's Undertale.
Sans Undertale, did you mean Ness?
And here we are in Florsia, which means we are like kind of a spirit cat thingy or something, and we're gonna get yeah, but this screen always make me go like always confused me. Can't add that. Like basically this screen is pretty hard to do if you want to do that fast. But like okay. Like if you want to wait, it's like 10 seconds slower, which is I don't like. It's one of the few cycle-based screens, pretty much, which is pretty weird. Like this is one thing I really enjoy about this game is that like most stuff I run is cycle-based, and I am not really into cycles that much. It makes it perfect. Okay, here we do a small skip. And we got the second quest. Now we're gonna go back to the first area of the game. And before that, I'm gonna get this other bug that is also super sneaky. But we're gonna go to the first area of the game to like clean stuff we couldn't get before because we were not cat. Which basically proves that cats are better than anything in anything. Even like searching for stuff. Because they are faster, they are sneakier. Look at this. This room is like has the form of a cat. It's pretty neat. It was basically meant for us. And this is one vitality you could take normally, but it's like slower in human form, so we decide to take it later. And this is a strategy created by DreamFox where you like just skip the imp, like skip killing it. Shout out to DreamFox, such a good runner. And now we can resume our fight for crests. And hopefully get some bugs too. There's like a bunny thingy that wants these bugs, and there's like a side quest for it. We don't really deliver it to them like after before we finish the run, but well, there's that. And this is another cutscene. We are on the sewers, and this is the princess of our city. And I'm not entirely sure why we would meet her right here, but there she is.
Quite the outfit she had on.
I know, right? Also, sorry I had to mute. Someone got into my room, and it was very scary. But
Oh no!
like, I get scared so easily. You have no idea. It's like,
Oh,
oh
that's
my
cute.
god. This part is the only underwater part of the game, and this category is really good in the way we don't really go through all the stuff. There's like more screens we need to go through in any percent. You get a certain key, but here we can skip most stuff. Also, there's this must skip that only cats can go through. And now we got everything, and we can head to the next boss fight, which is Frida. She's a mosquito slash duck, and she's like kind of a scary fight in Avid because she can when she gets staggered, she can go to like either sides, and she doesn't usually get staggered in any percent, but in this category she can, and she can probably like hit you, which is not something you want. What happens? She can also teleport like that, which is unfortunate. Yeah, good fight. And she just dances before dying, as anyone would do. Her item is the Sparse Thread, which is like a burst item like that does an AoE damage around you. It's pretty good. And we're going to the best screen of this game, and not only this game, the best screen in every single game ever created, ever, which is the cat room. We're also gonna take like a key and like progress the story, but like it's cats. The key is like just a bonus. And look at this. There are always 7 cats, and their colors and what they're doing is randomized. And the black cat sit next to us. The black cat loves us. This is amazing. And that is Cutlard, which is the best girl because she has 7 cats, and like you can argue against 7 cats. It's just too much power level. Here we take one more vitality very quickly. And now we can keep progressing. We're going to get the next quest, which is also the last one. I forgot to tell, but the third one is from Frida, makes us our arrows to be faster and charged faster. So it's a pretty good item. And we need to get that anyway to unlock the castle. But yeah, here we're gonna take some items. We need to get the tissue. There's also that sneaky bug. But the tissue, we get it so we can unlock the extra boss fight. This category name is called AVIB because we fight extra bosses, but there's like really only one boss, like extra. And this is Finale. And I said, oh god, okay. Luckily, this is the fastest fight. But Finale doesn't usually get lots of screen time, so there's also that. Casually, it's one of the hardest fights, and also like one of the most like hyped ones because it's kind of a duo because she fights in melee with her sword and likes to dash around a lot, just like you do. It's a pretty good fight, and she gives us the missive, which is an item that allows us to have lots and lots of damage. It's like it doubles it, and in trade, we lose 1/4 of our max health. And this was the wall we got oppressed. Final's Crest allows us to get 1 extra charge level, which will be useful in the next fight. And this is the Pinakoteka, which is a kind of a hard word to spell, so people call it other things. Some people call Pina Colada, some people call the Pythagoras theorem. There's the pterodactyl something too. Yeah, it's like a very fun part to do when you like get used to this game because you have to change your movement a lot between like human and cat. It's very rewarding. Oh god. No! Birds, please. And there is one sneaky bug right there. I also don't know exactly why we need to go like through a Pinakoteka before going to like the castle, but it's like in the way. We also are gonna take a small detour to get Sealed Wind, which allows us to get and upgrade our Leaf, which is our main melee weapon. Because if you just beat the final boss without that, it won't consider itself beaten. Game will basically say to you like, hey, are you really sure you beat this? You know, the curse wasn't lifted, and it was all in vain, and like, then you get that just to get like the real ending.
But the future refused to change.
This is sad, but we are changing the future because we got everything. That switch is like harder than it looks to hit it. It's kind of funny they just found out the strategy for that like not long ago, and this is a pretty weird fight. We start the fight using this before we enter into it. Oh god, bad RNG. Sure. It happens. It's basically a two-part fight. First we fight against Lupiar, which was that armored woman, and then it's her girlfriend Magnolia, which is really angry with us because we killed her. And yeah. Lupiar can roll.
It's wild.
She was like super angry because Lupiar basically did everything she could during this fight. There's slightly RNG. Lupiar can roll just like us, and just like us, she gets invulnerable frames, which make it so we had to use 1 extra item to defeat her, making the fight slightly slower. This was like the worst RNG we could get in that fight, and even then, she still died. Their item is the heavy arrows, which make it so your arrows are incredibly large, and also they do a lot of more damage. Since it's so at the end of the run, it's not like a necessary item to beat the game, but it's very good to have. It only loses like 15 seconds in case you don't get it. And here is another small sequence break we do. There's a switch over there to unlock this path. We don't get that because, yeah, we don't have time to go all the way up and hit that. Also, we're gonna use that item we got earlier, the sealed wind, to unlock the leaf upgrade. We do that by bathing our leaf into hibisco tea. I don't know the logic, but it works. Wait. There you go. Also, you can only enter that as a cat, which is pretty neat. It's like a small cat hideout or something. That tissue we got earlier, it's basically to give that to this girl, which is Koar. She's Fennel's sister, and she deducted that if you had her tissue, it means that you killed her sister, which doesn't make lots of sense, but yeah. And now she wants to kill you, and she's the extra boss we need to do. She's kind of hard casually, but like since you have lots of items, she's not super hard, as you could see. And now we beat every single boss in this game. Now we just need to get the rest of bugs and the rest of vitality and beat the game, which we'll do shortly. Now we're finally in Card's Castle. This part of the game has lots of stuff if you're like trying to get everything, which is pretty cool. Also, there's lots of cool small little tricks you can do. To the other side, there's Passiflora, which can heal us for a whole bunch, but you don't really need that. And that bomb can be very tricky. It hits for a random radius, which means it can hit you. And this is Kef, but she's alright. She's totally not dead. She's just taking a nap because climbing that castle in a heavy armor is very, very tiring. She's totally fine. And this is the last vitality fragment. And we're closing to another mini boss fight. Which is the cloning joke. She can't clone herself. That was the clone, by the way, like the one on the left. And we can know which one is real by looking at their height. The closest to the ground is always the real one. Oh my god, this is getting scary. Okay. And we got all bugs. No! Never mind. That happens.
Oh, poor kitty.
Kitty's scream is so sad. It almost makes me feel guilty for dying there. But to be honest, like, it was totally my bad for getting aggro from like a witch that wasn't being shown on screen. I did one extra jump I shouldn't have. This is also the worst RNG we can get in this fight because she can spawn anywhere in the screen, and she decided to spawn as far as she could, which is unfortunate, but happens. No. Okay, we're fine. This time Sisu didn't aggro her. Yeah. She didn't throw anything, and I was like really focused at that part because spikes can always instant kill you, like regardless of your health. And I am like kind of known for dying that specific screen a lot. Like that is the real final boss to me. Also, we're getting to the queen fight, which is the final boss, and she has 3 phases. It's kind of hard to explain what's going on, but yeah. We did the first phase very quickly. And this is not very good, so I'm gonna use this here. We should save that item for the third phase, but I kind of messed it up a bit. The end would usually end it here if you didn't have the leaf upgrade. But since we got it, we can actually fight the real accursed queen. Which is this thingy that has a hole. And yeah, GG. Time. This was Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. I hope you all enjoyed. If you want to learn this game, we have like lots of resources both for more advanced players, for beginners. We also have a cat channel in the Discord where people post cat pictures. Also dog pictures because people also like dogs and other animals, but mostly cats. And you can like go there and check that out. And if you have a cat, I totally recommend you to go there and post it so we can share our love. But yeah, we also have like lots of guides, lots of resources. Community is very, very, very chill. And I think that's it.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Catnip. Really appreciate it. Good run. You kind of blindsided me on the time. I was like, oh snap!
I always forget about that. Like, I have read this game in a few marathons, and every time I like, if there's, unless there's someone with me, like, kind of making comments, I will always forget about telling like people all the time.
That's okay. I got it. It's just a little bit late. So thank you again. We have time for one more run. That will be again with Catnip. We're doing Touhou Luna Nights. No major skips. So
yeah.
Don't go anywhere, friends. Catnip will be right back for one more run.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Treefort. I'm your host, lizstar, and we're continuing on and finishing our lovely day of obscure Metroidvanias. It's been a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed all the runs. Catnip is back with a run of Touhou Luna Nights, which just came out this year, so it's a brand new Metroidvania. So y'all should definitely, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really rad. You can go ahead and take it away.
Okay. This is Luna Nights. This is another. I think this is the second Touhou Vania game. But I think I should start after the run starts actually. On three.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Basically, the story of this game is that Remelia is barred. If you like use it to Touhou lore, basically like she's always barred, and she's a vampire with lots of powers, and she just decided to create kind of a virtual magical world kind of thingy, and put her servant Sakuya, which is our character there. Sakuya has time stop and time slow powers, but they are limited here because Remelia is barred and want to see some action. And yeah, this game is all about time stopping, and just like Touhou, you have brace mechanics. In this game, it works like this: if you get close to an enemy without touching it, you'll get some health, and some mana back. Everything you do in terms of damage costs mana, so it's pretty important to graze as much as you can. We're gonna get the stopwatch from Nitori, which is basically what allowed us to use to fully use our time stop powers in this world, which means you can like stop for real and not just slow. We also have a level system which helps with damage mostly. And these are cats. If a cat died during this run, it was because it was not a real cat. Cats wouldn't die with just like 2 knives, come on. And when time stops, you can also graze, and you can graze from a longer distance. Also, water just becomes solid and you can go over it, which I find pretty cool. But when you graze during time stop, while you don't get your health back, you get more time and more mana than usual, which is also pretty good. Right now we're gonna take the slide knife, which allows us to slide, which is our main movement skill, and also it's necessary to progress through the story. This is no major skips, which means we have to take all the main items and all the main keys, and we have to go through each room without like skipping stuff. Any percent, if you like watch a run of this game, you basically go from stage 1 to stage 2 to the last stage, which is kind of silly but pretty fun. And yeah, these are blue spirits. They are my nemesis. And we got the slide. These lights are way faster than walking, as you can see. They're kind of clunky to use, but you get used to it.
You've got a lot of the community in chat right now cheering you on.
Oh, Luna Nights community is like, it's for a small game like this, it's like pretty big, and every time there's any event, people hype a lot for it, especially Artemis, which is the person who actually made the whole community thing. He used it to run this game when like there was only one stage, and it was pretty neat, like watching this community grow. Oh, we level up. And I do hope I can get a 1 cycle in the screen. These blue spirits, they are really, really annoying. And yeah, I didn't. Oof. There's not a lot going on in this first part. We're reaching the first boss, which is Mailing. She's kind of like not the real Mailing, but a digital, like fake version created for this world. Oh, I didn't get to do that. If you're close enough when she does that punch that throws a Hadouken thing, you can actually like avoid it. Also, when in time stop, you also use time to throw knives instead of MP, which is a pretty cool detail. And I am out of MP. It happens. This was Mailing. I'm playing in Japanese because it's slightly faster, but it's not really relevant. I think it's less than 1 second total faster than playing in another language. I'm not super sure. And this is the second stage. It has fairies, which are the worst. They are very, very randomized, and they tend to screw me up a lot, like that. There's also lots of blades and stuff going on. Grazing that was really good though, to replenish some of our health. This is one thing about this run that I like a lot. Like if you're in a pinch, you can just graze and restart stuff. Not sure if you could see, but there's like a mandrake hidden under that, like in the floor right there. And you kind of have to time stop before reaching it, or else it will scream, and when it screams, it does hurt a lot. We're gonna get the double jump knife that allows us to double jump, and you're also getting like an item that allows us to use more knives during stop time, which is also pretty good. This almost so scary. When you're grazing during time stop, you also can get over your time limit, which is there's the Mandrake attack, which is pretty good because you can stand time stop for like forever, or almost forever. And now we're heading for the second boss, which is Marisa. There's a few things, like a few screens before that. Also, as you can see, there's lots of spikes everywhere. They really, really like spikes, which really scares me a lot. But we are here, and we are alive, so everything is fine. Right next is the boss, but before that we're gonna get the chainsaw, which is a great item for damage. And I mean, it's a chainsaw. Who doesn't like them? Now that you have your chainsaw, we're basically will spam that as much as we can because that's like a lot of damage. As you can see, she's kind of melting. And she was turning quite a lot there. Never saw that before. Interesting. And now she's doing her signature move, which is the Master Spark. It's kind of nice how you can just slow time and go under it because it does a spiral. I don't know, I like that detail a lot, how they play with 3D stuff in a 2D game. It's very well made. And this was Marisa. And we want to finish this fight as close to right as possible because of this opening, where we're gonna get another key. And she's like completely defeated, almost can't hold her broom, and goes like, "Heh, I didn't even unleash my full power, but I'm gonna let you live this time." And then you're just, okay, let's keep going. And Nitori appears again. She really wants to collect all the jewels in this game. When you kill something, you can get jewels. And she gives you a shop ticket where you can sell jewels for money and use that money to buy stuff. And you just go like, nah, I'm not gonna take in this shop ticket because, well, jewels, they use it to give you stats in this game before like last patch that hit, I think it was on Friday. But yeah, I think they're gonna fix that. Like they were supposed to give us stats like Hajin, damage, and lots of stuff like it. And I am at a very low health, so I'm kind of concerned about it. Okay. And by concerned, I mean this was like entirely free and I had never a bit of fear. Okay, we're fine. Now you can go to the third stage. This is a pretty short Metroidvania. Even 100% run is not really that big. Like it's not really that long. It's like, I think it's about 35 minutes. But it's a cool little game full of cool little stuff. And fights are really fun to do. Here we have more fairies. I think I forgot to say, but like these platforms are like objects that have this green colored thingy will only move when you have time stop on. And the purple ones will move regardless. Making some small platforming puzzle things. It's also gonna be used in bosses later on, which is very, very neat. Like they really incorporate the time mechanics very well. You don't want to use them like only to leave or something, but yeah. You can go over, like you can go there from here, but it's pretty hard to do. It's tricky. And this is the grip knife. When we stop time, we can like use our knives as platforms, which opens up infinite possibilities for this run. And this red cloud, it makes it so we lose the ability to stop time. So we have to avoid that at all costs. Right now we're heading towards the third boss and getting another fight item, which is the 1000 daggers. Oh no, that cloud hit us. This is pretty bad. Need to wait for a while to get our time back. And I kind of respawn those two little guys, which is not a very smart thing to do. But hey, happens. As you can see, we can platform like that. And there's this thing with the new patch where it's kind of hard to double jump sometimes. Like sometimes we will try to double jump and it won't work. Yep. And here we are with Nitori again. She just comes and say like, hey, these jewels, they are all mine. And then she leaves. And that's like basically it. And then you can just keep going. Also in this game there's a whole bunch of hidden walls like that one. And we got the 1000 daggers. I'm not really a fan of this item. It is pretty good and really safe. But it does less damage than chainsaws.
I love in speedruns just hearing the random things speedrunners say. You know, I like it, but it does less damage than chainsaws.
You know, like...
It's incredible.
I mean... You're losing aesthetically because, well, chainsaws, you can beat chainsaws in terms of being cool. And you're also losing in terms of damage. Like, come on.
Absolutely.
It is pretty good though, because during the duration of 1000 daggers, which you basically throw 52 daggers, which is not even close to 1000, you are invulnerable. Makes it like really good if you're trying to be safe, which is totally the case in the near future. And this is Patchouli. She does lots of attacks, and her books also do the same attacks as her, which is pretty neat. You can also gaze on some projectiles like this water ball thingies just running at us, which is pretty cool. And we trigger her like second phase, which basically she summons 2 more books, which is double the attacks. And these green thingies, they will only move when we are in time stop. So we kind of have to take care of those. And these dragons are scary. Okay, we're fine. This is where 1000 daggers is really good, except I didn't have mana. And after this attack, she just loops everything. There's this thing about this game is that most stuff is not randomized, especially in boss fights. So you don't need to go and like, hey, I need that one pattern to like do stuff. You can just like get used to the fight, always do the same way, and it will always work. And yeah, this was Patchouli. We're gonna get yet another key and go to the first stage. This game was in early access on Steam since I think September. I'm not super sure if it was September or October. And it was up to this stage, and people were complaining it wasn't very hard. Which is kind of not true, because this game's kind of hard. But like, then they made stage 4. I think it's out of spite because people were telling like their game was too easy. But yeah, this stage is like hell. It has the best music though, so cannot complain. These bunnies, they can stop time, like in an area, and it will totally stop you two. Which is like, it doesn't seem too bad, but in some rooms there are other enemies besides you, besides the bunny, and that will they can hit you while you're in time stop. And here I'm gonna wait for a bit to do a small little trick that I hope it works. And it didn't. Whoop. Gonna try to do like the usual way. You can clip some walls by throwing daggers in the air while times stop it. Not super sure about the logic, but yeah, it works, I guess. So there's that. Okay, like this, which is pretty good because that room is really hard if you're. Oh god, I'm dying. Oof. But that room is really hard if you don't do that clip because clowns, they are really annoying.
Just like in real life.
Just like in real life.
Whoever looked at a clown and said, "Boy, I wish that thing never got tired."
Oh god, I love Gilbert.
Same.
Okay. We got it this time. I'm not gonna do the clip thingy because, yeah, I am scared and I have lots of health, so yeah. Let's just do the save thingy. But as you can see, there's lots of like stuff that can kill you in this, like this stage compared to like the other two. Okay, can I not die here? Okay, thank you. This was pretty scary, but it's alright because there is a vending machine where we can buy some stuff, and I didn't manage to throw the trash bin, which is sad because I am doing a bad thing to the world. Also, if we stop time and we enter in a room with spikes, spikes collision thingy won't spawn, which means you can just like ignore them and dash away, which is pretty cool. One thing about this game, like about those trash bins, is that if you throw a can into the trash bin, you will award points. And you totally need to do that to get 100% of this game. Which is basically this means that this game is kinda educative in its own way. Oh god, I got stuck in the... okay. That was weird. And this is the screw knife. It allows us to break some objects that we couldn't before, like wooden boxes. And it is also necessary for this run. And this is the worst screen in the game, and it makes it so you will hate these bunnies for the rest of your life. Okay, it was fine though, so far. Those white circles are that zone that stops you from moving. And these are the boxes that can be broken by screw knife. And another clown room, but this one is way easier. You can just stop time, and there are so many enemies in the screen, you can just like move around like nothing was happening. And this is the hardest boss fight, but also the best hero in this game, which is Remelia. She is pretty hard, so I probably try to be quiet and focus here. But the general strategy is that you want to throw as many chainsaws as possible. Also, these attacks, since they are purple, they will continue moving even if times stop, which makes it so you have to be careful. This attack, like when there's yellow stuff, they will go back in time if you stop time. Which is also very interesting. And this is one of the places where 1000 daggers is good because you can just like graze on everything without taking damage. And that attack is really hard to dodge, so it's another good place to use your 1000 dagger skill. And that's it. This was also a gold, which is interesting. After you beat her, she tells you something is very weird about this world because there's someone messing around that was not supposed to be there, and then you have to find out who that is. And she also likes to snap a lot, which is nice, very stylish. Remy gets all the style points for that. I was getting there just to save. Nothing super hard is gonna happen in the next few screens, but I would like to be safe and not do this fight again. And Itari shows up yet again and says, "Hey, I noticed you didn't pick up the shop ticket last time, so here I'm gonna try and give you another one. Don't lose it, please." And then you say, "Okay, thanks." And you ignore it. And she does like to break around everything, which is pretty weird, but yeah. Oh no. Since you can like use the grip knife to create platforms, you can skip most of the platforming stuff in this game, like puzzles. This room you were supposed to be completely to the right and then go to the left, but you can just like climb up everything. We can create our own platforms, which is great. And this screen is very scary if you don't have the grip knife. Oh no, we lost time. We're gonna have to like wait here for a moment. I am like changing screens over and over because on the right screen, this huge thing can shoot lots of lasers and rain our day, and on the other screen, there's like this Ferris who create that red mist that makes us lose time. Like, yeah, it's pretty annoying and confusing, but I'm doing another save. This is the hardest part of the run, in my opinion. We're gonna have to get the last key, which is the purple one. Also, I'm here saving a bit like of time. You can see how much time you have on like on the top center of the screen, and if we do the same thing again, where we freeze time before entering in the room, and then spikes just don't spawn. I do find that trick to be super neat. And this is the purple key. The easy part was getting here, and now there's the hard part. I also gonna have to save a bit, so we can go there. There we go. The hard part is what comes next. We kinda want to go back there, but oh my god, okay, I need to have help for this. We're gonna wait here until a blue spirit hits us, and we can skip through that instead of doing the whole room. It's a very long room with lots of stuff, so yeah, we don't really like doing the entire thing. And this fairy, sometimes she decides to go all the way to the right, which which is really bad because then she will hit you. Oh no, okay, this was bad. What I'm trying to do here is that if I shoot daggers and then move to the right, I can do kind of a reverse damage boost where I go to a different direction. Like whenever you get hit, you get kind of a knockback and stuff, and then you just change your direction while you are locked in one animation. I am really bad at explaining things. I'm sorry about that. But yeah,
That's okay. It's hard to like speed run and also commentate at the same time. It's a skill. Not to mention, English isn't your first language, so you're doing incredible.
Thank you. I'm always like super worried about my English because, well, it's not my first language, and sometimes I am scared that I won't make sense. Which is something like very scary. But, like, thank you.
It is scary, but you are really doing amazing. You're certainly speaking way better than I could speak in Portuguese, I'll tell you that.
Oh, by the way, this is like the final boss fight. It was Nitori all along. She wanted gems to become more powerful. Wow.
Is time coming up?
It's gonna be like a two-phase battle.
Gotcha.
When it gets close, I'll be sure to tell you this time. It's not a hard fight. She always go for the same like attacks, and after she gets under half of her health, she's gonna do another attack, and I didn't have mana for the cool stuff again, which is this one. I should like stop trying to use 1000 daggers, except when completely needed. But yeah. What? I died. Sure. This is not a hard fight. I think I just like my brain just stopped working for a moment. That happens sometimes. But let's try to do better now. Okay. Oh, she was not under half health. She didn't trigger her thingy, which is pretty weird. I was like waiting for her to like just fly around and do stuff. But this is actually fine. And now she's slowly going for it. Yep. You can hide under these pillars in the background so you won't get hit. It's another cool little thing. Like, it's not unique nor anything, but I really like this kind of stuff. And then you beat her. Which is still not time because then there's the second part. Wow. You discover that Nitori was actually Flandre all along, which is Remilia's sister. And Flandre is mad because Remilia created all of this and didn't invite her. Which was really mean because all those gems were actually hers. And this is kind of a hard fight. You can grace like so much health and mana from those machines. It's pretty good. Flandre in like the original Touhou, like I think it's on Touhou 6, that she appears. She's like the extra boss, and she is insanely hard. So they decided to make the same thing here and make her super ultra mega omega hard. After you get used to her patterns, it's not really that bad, but also these emeralds, since they are green, they move when you stop time, which can be very, very annoying. You can destroy those at least, which is pretty good. And you can know which one is the real Flannery in this by seeing her tail, like only the real one has. It's somewhat hard to see, but... And since you got through half of her health, it activates her like special attack with this one. You can just stay under her and spam stuff, which makes this like way less scary than one would think it should be. And when her health goes to 0, it will be time. Cha-chong. Okay, there we go. And now there's like one last cutscene where they all go together and Remy says, hey, you could have just asked to get inside this, you know? Let's go home, you didn't behave. And everything ends. And this was Luna Nights. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's a pretty fun. It's short, but it's pretty good. I think it's also not that expensive. Might be around $10 on Steam. It's totally worth the price, Hamo. You should get it. Also, the community is great. There's lots and lots of resources for anyone that wants to join. There's a lot of categories too. There's like any percent, no measure skips, reverse plus order, 100%, dunk percent where you do all the trash cans into trash bins. Like there's lots of stuff. And the community is great. They have tea.
Well, thank you so much, Catnip. That was a really awesome run.
Thank you for the opportunity, to be honest. Like, it was pretty cool running
Of
these
course.
games, showing off all these cool little tricks people found out.
Of course, we love showcasing amazing runners here on Hotfix. Every Sunday, except for next Sunday. Next Sunday is GDQ. But every Sunday, we will be doing more Treefort. This is my second time go around. So stay tuned for me. I'll be back next month. I got some cool stuff planned. Nonetheless, do you have anything else that you would like to say or showcase, Catnip?
I just want to thank you all again, and for both communities, like both Luna Nights and Momo, you can find the links for Discords in speedrun.com for their respective games page. And I think that's it. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for running. Now, while I have your attention, and then everyone leaves. But while I have your attention, this is the end of Treefort. Not forever, just for today. I want to thank you all so much for watching and having a good time. I'm putting words in your mouth, but it's okay because I'm not reading chat. Before you go, I do want to give you a few announcements because there's some stuff going on here on the Games Done Quick channel soon. That's right. It's everyone's favorite. It's the sprint. No, we have 3 more hotfix events going on. We have a showcase tomorrow of, let me look at the game, because I could not possibly remember it. What the heck game is this? It's like Katana Zero is tomorrow. Boom. So our showcase of Katana Zero is tomorrow. And we also have the sprint on Tuesday, and then Kuso Grande on Wednesday. Those are going on as normal. And then we're taking a bit of a break because, oh my god, everyone needs a little bit of rest before SGDQ, which is next week, 1 week from today. We'll be doing full-on 24/7 for the entire week. What we're known for, it's games, summer games done quick. So I hope to see you all there. And yeah, that's it for today. So thank you all so much for hanging out. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again sometime soon.